Once you see the red button, we are live. We are live. Thank you for joining us. You are tuning into the Vulcan Soapbox. I'm here with my peers, my esteemed, respected colleagues. Today we're gonna I'm gonna cover a few topics. I got a new guest, returning guest, and my partner in crime. So I'm gonna start off with Aki, good and crazy news, man. How you doing, man? Welcome to the platform.
Hey, welcome. I'm glad to be here. This is my first time here. I've
Yes,
been invited
sir.
before, but I just never came. So I'm glad I'm here to experience this and hopefully we can do more. Let's see what's up.
Man, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that for having you too, man. What's up, Derek?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey man, good
Oh,
to be back. Um, you can you guys can hit me up on TikTok at Derek Bain.
yeah,
There are some
yeah.
fake Derek Bains out there. It's only at Derek Bain. There's no numbers behind it.
That's
But
when you know you're doing it big. When you got fake pages, that's when you know.
you,
And not just Derek. Go ahead and let them know you're an author too, man. We forgot to, let people know that you write books too, man.
somewhat,
And not just somebody on TikTok.
yeah. Just trying to get
uh,
the truth out. Yeah, that's all.
yes, sir. And my guy Volk, and we back at it, man. What's up, man?
How's it going, everybody? I'm excited for a good show today. All the people on the panel now, it's the live is now public, so feel free to share it with anybody. Aki, Derek, feel free to share it on your pages and stuff like that. You should be able to do so. So you share the live link, and I put the YouTube link in my profile earlier. So if you scroll down,
Oh,
you'll see the YouTube live link as well. But I'm excited to get into it. We're gonna break some things down. We're gonna cover a little bit of what was new that's going on, and also we're gonna finish out the Dr. Bryant interview she's been doing, and we're gonna have some fun. Let's get to it.
Yes, you heard what Vulcan said. Dr. Bryant, or what Cheyenne Benson, or Bryant, I forgot her name, but yeah, we did another breakdown with her with Cam Newton. This breakdown we're gonna do with Nick Cannon. Good interview. We're gonna get right into it, but first, before we get into that, we had some things that was trending in the media. My guy Shannon Sharp, man. My gosh, Shannon Sharp. Just to let the audience know, it was a recorded device that was leaked or uh, put out on purpose. Who knows? Of him having relations with a woman. So I'm just go ahead and get into it for those.
dang.
I'm gonna ask my guys on the panel, man. Excuse the typos. The typo supposed to be, was this on purpose? That's the question I'm gonna ask my partners, man. I'm gonna start off with Derek, man. Do you think this was on purpose, man?
I haven't seen this yet.
Oh, okay, okay. What's
But
up?
but 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 I'll tell you just from what I know of him,
Mm-hmm.
I can't possibly think that was on purpose.
Okay. All right. Let's go with Aki.
Well, all right. So y'all check this out, right? Okay, I have a whole theory behind this whole thing with Shannon Sharp and this.
Let us know. Let us know.
So, all right. So Shannon Sharp, right? All right. So there's this video on Instagram, wherever it's at or whatever. All you have to do is hashtag Shannon Sharp on X, and it'll pop up.
Okay.
So I saw the video. Evidently, somebody has their phone in their hand and they put it down on the bed so you can see the ceiling fan, right?
Ah,
And then the girl's like, "Yeah, Daddy, come on, Shannon, give it to me, give it to me." Okay, now, do I think this is real or not? Okay, this is the thing. You know, everybody think that Shannon is in the LGBT plus community, right?
Yep.
So I think that he probably did this to probably debunk those rumors about him. But you know what? In 2024, that doesn't mean anything.
it sure don't.
I
That's a good
mean,
point.
so
That's a good point.
I see your cup, James.
I got to get me one of those.
Okay.
I got to get me one that says "Hell to the no, no."
Yeah, man. Voting.
Oh man,
What's
yeah.
up, man?
I've been going back and forth on this today, man. I was first, I didn't think it was real. Then I thought it's probably got to be real. These guys are rich. Publicity is everything. There's no such thing as bad press, bad publicity. So, just like Will Smith's apology to Chris Rock, I did kind of fall into it a little bit, but I'm gonna go. I don't think it's real. I don't think he did it on purpose. Just because I watched his interview and his breakdown with Ocho Cinco, and it was like,
I did see that. I seen that.
He convinced me. I know it's crazy, but he did kind of convince me with that.
Maybe I'm just gullible. I don't know how to work with phone. He hit you with that, huh?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What did he convince you of?
Convinced me that somehow his phone just went live. I
don't know. Shout out to, we got some comments in the room. Shout out to John Johns. Yo, you go, Aki. Oh, maybe somebody you know. What's up, John Johns? Help the bear. What up, man? Finally, let's go. Yes, sir. We here, bro. We here. You not on time though. No, Jeff. All right, go ahead, Vulcan.
As far as what?
Oh, that was it. You was finished with your statement?
Yeah, that was pretty much it, man. I think now, obviously, I think Aki kind of hinted to it a little earlier, but there were allegations out there that, he, enjoyed, different kind of things, and this is one way to, I guess, to try to disprove the rumors. But as Aki said, it's 2024.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I. He's so worried about carrying that damn dog in that orange purse in the airport. Like that vision still doesn't leave my brain. I'm sorry. I still see him with that dog in the airport talking about, what you looking at?
Yeah,
that dog definitely wasn't a good look. All right, fellas. How does this affect the allegations? As far as the rumors about him, how does this video? How does it affect?
Rumors about him being gay, right?
Yeah. How does this affect him?
It does. I say it doesn't.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard would tell you he's not gay, but he will tell you, I've dabbled in this, and whose business is it? So we're living in that era where a dude can say, I'm not gay, but engage in that. So it's no telling.
Well, you know what? I'm glad y'all told me that this is Facebook and I can't say certain things. And I can tell you something right now.
Hey, talk your ish.
It's a lot of not gay action going on around
100%.
here. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Vulcan? Does it change anything?
I kind of have to agree with Aki on this one.
Yeah.
It doesn't really change something. I want to say this. And this reminds me of one guy I used to listen to, and he says that if you're going to call a man gay, what you are saying is that he likes certain orifices to be filled with certain, body parts. So it's not just about being effeminate. It's not just about questionable. You're saying that about that guy. So if you're gonna say that, you got to be prepared to go. That's what you're really saying.
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody who says that they straight that just enjoy giving men fellatio.
Yeah.
But he says he's straight.
Talking about Tank? Who we talking about?
Oh no, no.
I thought he said. Didn't he have that comment he said recently?
Tank, the singer?
Yeah, I thought he said that just because a man does that doesn't make him gay.
Oh my gosh.
No,
there's a lot of that going on.
He like women doing certain things to him. That's what he said.
Oh,
you sure?
The men are just catching up to the women. Yeah, they've been doing that.
Yeah, he did say that, like women doing certain things or whatever. It's graphic. really
I'm
graphic.
dead.
But I would say this, even I forgot there's some studies on this. Even when you meet somebody in person, their first impression of you doesn't go away until I think that they have to be around you like 10 or 12 times. So what they initially thought of you the first time is pretty hard for them to change their mind how they view you. It's going to be very difficult to do that. So if people's first impression of Shannon Sharp is walking the airport with that dog, it's gonna be hard, man. It's gonna be hard with
Well,
the
it wasn't
orange.
just the airport. There's a picture of him getting out of a vehicle and the way his body was setting up. It had that look to it. But in his defense, he played football. He's had a lot of surgeries.
Yeah. We gotta give him
So in his defense, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean,
yeah. That was that because it was crazy because he said that his staff. The reason why he came clean about what he said what really happened because he had a publicist that suggested or told him to tell the public that his phone
hacked.
was hacked. Yeah, his phone was hacked, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna just come out. It, I don't know. I haven't went Instagram live before. I think we did it a few times here, but it goes to the StreamYard. So who knows? You heard of people getting caught up in doing things like that in the past. As far as accidentally going live. So who knows? It's probably easy to do. Maybe.
I've accidentally hit record on TikTok or on Instagram before. I mean, I've accidentally
There you
done it.
go.
So you
Okay.
get caught up,
Hmm.
taking a picture and then you put your phone down and you don't
Hmm.
realize your hand's on the record button and it's it's probable,
Okay. All
but
right.
that's an extreme.
But
so
maybe.
go ahead.
No, you got. You got.
I was gonna say that.
Unless they,
Go ahead.
I feel like they might have planned on recording it anyway. You know what I mean? Because why would your phone be on Instagram with the camera? Like, that's not making no sense to me. Because there's too many steps involved.
Okay.
Well, maybe they were taking pictures. They're getting ready to get down. He taking pictures on his phone. He's like, they doing whatever, and all of a sudden, you done mess. Hey, because when you go on live, when I look at it on my phone, that live button's up at the top. All you got to do is click that sucker, and you own. Especially if you already got an account where you do go live. That's a step. That's not like a bunch of steps. It's a misstep, if you want to call it.
Okay, and a slightly different note, like how do you think it's going to affect him with ESPN and Disney? Because ESPN is owned by Disney.
That's tough.
And
He's still on
tough.
TV? I didn't know he was still on TV.
It would.
Yeah, he's on TV.
It's going to be a hypocritical day when Disney has something to say about somebody having intercourse.
But you see what they did to Paul Pierce, right? He was in the room with some strippers. I think,
that's a little different.
You think so?
Yeah. If I'm with a no-name girl, there's no backstory, there's no nothing. We just my crap went live. That's a entirely different narrative than I'm in a strip club with some strippers. Now that whole stigma is getting ready to come back to the organization that I work for. Whereas Shannon's is, hey man, I got caught sleeping with some chick I'm dating.
I mean, you know what? If you ask me, two people having sex is not a big deal.
Yeah.
We're all here because of sex.
Yeah.
So
it's 3 or 4 or 5 having is it a big deal?
It wasn't 3 or 4 or 5 people. It was just one. He was with one person.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't see how this is going to affect them at all. It's going to be like, oh, it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody who might say something to him like, oh, this is bad for your career, they was probably having sex the night before. So I don't know. To me, there's not enough scandal in the story to make it scandalous. Like,
yeah,
I don't see the scandal in it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got comments, y'all. Let's get the comments on the screen. I don't think he's on TV though. I think he just does his own show. Okay. All right.
No. He definitely is on TV. So he was with Fox with Skip, and then he got fired from Fox. Him and Skip fell out over that Skip made about him not being him being jealous of Tom Brady. Then after Skip made that comment, he was off Fox. I don't know, 6 months later, a year later, whatever it was. And then Stephen A. called him up, and now he's on First Take with Stephen A.
Okay.
He's not like bona fide regular on there. He's a regular, a feature on there, but he's not like it's not like how it was with Skip and Stephen A.
Not the co-host.
Yeah, he's sorry, that's what I'm saying. He's not the co-host. Yeah.
All right. I think we did a good job on that. Like I said, we gotta cover the current events. One more thing that was going on in the news is if y'all know that Kendrick Lamar is going to perform at this year's or next year's Super Bowl, and people are saying that Lil Wayne had that spot before Kendrick Lamar was, I guess, granted that position. So,
They're saying Lil Wayne should have been it because it's in New Orleans.
Oh, it is. I didn't. Okay, I forgot that it was in New Orleans. Oh, okay. Now that makes sense why this is controversial. So, the question is: this because of a beef?
Because of what?
A beef.
Okay, now I talked about this. Now we all know that Barbie doll is involved with this, Nikki. And she got online and started doing all of this chatter to Jay-Z, calling him out online, basically saying, why do you have Kendrick doing the show in New Orleans and and not Wayne? Right message, wrong messenger. If anybody's gonna speak up for Wayne, it should be Birdman, not Nicki Minaj. Because here's the caveat: once you bring in Nicki Minaj, then guess who else you got to bring?
Who?
Drake.
Okay.
So therefore, it's by Lil Wayne. And guess what? I didn't know he was really that little.
Who, Kendrick or Lil?
Kendrick's little too. He's only 5'5".
Oh wow.
Yeah, they short. Yeah,
There's
short.
a lot of rappers that are shorter than
on their wallets.
I heard DMX. I remember Cat Williams said DMX wasn't as tall as people think he is.
Cap.
Wow.
That's Cap. What's up, Derek? What you think?
Oh man, this is out of my depth right here.
I guess what they say in the beef, because Jay-Z is in charge. He orchestrates the halftime performance.
Mm-hmm.
So he get to choose who can come and not who can go, who can perform, who's not performing. So some are saying that he's responsible for booting Lil Wayne out and choosing Kendrick. So so what you think, Vulcan?
Well, yeah. So Jay-Z was already under a little bit of pressure because he took that position with the NFL shortly after the Colin Kaepernick stuff, when black people were saying we're going to boycott the NFL and we're not going to watch the games anymore. Not too long afterwards, Jay-Z took that position. So a lot of people looked at him as a sellout for taking a position in the first place. Others said, let's give him a shot and see what he's going to do. So that's where we are now with that. And then with this recent situation, they're saying there's lots of different talk on why. Some say because, Jay-Z considers himself to be the greatest rapper of all time, and Lil Wayne has the catalog to compete with that. And him performing the Super Bowl, could be one of those things that adds to his resume. Some people think that. Other people are saying things like when they watch his last performance at the Grammys, they're saying Lil Wayne's starting to forget his own lyrics.
Ooh.
He's starting to forget his own lyrics. His mind isn't as sharp as it used to be. And some say it's a bad business move to put that risk on him. Yeah. Also, Kendrick Lamar just had the biggest song, this year.
Now, I think his album is coming out soon. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's gonna come. It's gonna come on the back of that. On the back of that album. So it could be a good look for everybody involved. But the thing is, he's from LA. The Super Bowl's in New Orleans, and then the next 2 years it'll be in California. The Super Bowl will be in California the next 2 years after this. They're saying they couldn't wait one more year.
Nah, they got to start with the irons hot, man.
But if you play that "They Not Like Us" on the Super Bowl, it's gonna hit. Everybody wants to hear that song.
So could you imagine the whole stadium going, dun, 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 "They Not Like Us"?
Yeah,
like us.
It's gonna be big.
Yeah.
So I get it. Definitely get it.
He has a good catalog, man. That's diverse. Not to say Wayne doesn't, but I think Kendra might be more commercial than Lil Wayne in a sense because I forgot what was that award he won that start with a P.
Pulitzer.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean that's a
Oh, wow.
yeah, so for an album that the damn album.
Yeah.
So it might be more commercial. Yeah, and anything else y'all want to add to that?
Hey,
Nah,
we
I think
lost.
we covered that.
Oops,
So
sorry.
go ahead.
We lost two greats, Frankie Beverly and
Oh yeah,
my favorite. So I got to do it since I brought it up. Hey,
yeah, yeah.
sir, the guests are waiting. Let
Mm.
them wait. I'm talking to my son.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
son, what? What is this, McDowell's?
My
my
son, what?
son, the one true king.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite lines in that movie, man. I didn't
His,
know he was that old. I didn't know he was in his
I didn't know he was
90s.
93 either. I was
I'm
like,
like,
wow, he
I
lived a good
still
long
alive.
he said,
life.
He
Yeah.
lived
I
a
thought he died
full.
during Coming to America too.
His
Oh
daughter is
yeah.
beneath me, and so is he.
See, man. Shout out to Derek at Bay. He could help you with
Is
your
okay?
voice,
Is
man.
he the
Voice coach
greatest
right here.
voice? Is he the greatest voice in all of cinema history, or what?
Yeah. Come
I,
on,
I
Darth
like his
Vader.
voice more
He
than
did
Morgan
Darth
Freeman.
Vader.
Who's
Darth
Yeah,
the
Vader.
other black guy who has the voice of God?
Morgan
Morgan
Freeman.
Freeman.
Yeah, those two are the top voices, I would say.
Yeah. So
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
wait till I'm 56, and then I'm gonna get in there.
Okay. You might be already in there. All right, let's go
Yeah.
ahead and
Gotta replace him.
let's start with like we told you earlier, we're gonna look at the Nick Cannon interviewing Dr. Cheyenne Bryant,
Let's get
and let's get into some commentary. All
Wake up,
right,
Enos. Wake up.
yes sir. I'm up. All right, you ready?
hmm
For even
But
with
my
the
dad
mother,
feels that way
yeah,
too.
even
So
with
that's
the
why
mothers,
he's
like
saying
I gotta, and because like anyone who's dealing with me in a romantic setting have to know, like, all right, it's about the kids
Yeah,
first and
yeah,
foremost, and then we can wine and dine and do all the things that we need to do to cater to your desires. But
Yeah.
I think maybe that adds to why you said, like, if a man who's gonna take care of his kid, because to me it's not even about like I could despise the mom, but that has nothing to do with the child.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think in our community, a lot of time, first of all, I've tried to be an example in that space because we have seen men who, because I don't rock with your mama, therefore I don't rock with you.
Right, right.
And I think, if anything, that's a sin at a different level. But
All right, we'll go with that. We're gonna go with that.
How many baby mamas Nick got?
Good Lord. Look
I
at that.
think he got a lot of kids.
Yeah, I think he had
What?
12.
He
Yeah,
has 12 kids, I think. Let me see.
I think he has, but it's with. I'm missing a question. All right, so let's go with this. Is this all the question? I thought it was another. We had another question. All right,
Yeah,
let me
he has
just.
12 kids.
Yeah, but like I said, it's only with. I said only, but it's not like he got 12. Nothing that makes it any better. But do the kids or your spouse come first? You sure it was? Well, it wasn't another question we had.
I don't know, my guy. You ready?
Yeah, let's just go with this, man. We'll start with Aki. What's up?
Well, I don't have my own personal children, but I can say I used to be a kid and I've seen my parents in relationships. I would say that the spouse, I mean, I don't know if the spouse is the right word. Are you talking about girlfriend, boyfriend, or actual spouse? I mean,
Uh,
if you're married, your wife still comes first. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what I think. Wife over kids. Because how you gonna raise the kids if you ain't putting the wife first? That's just my personal opinion. The mom comes first, or whoever you married to comes first, then the kids.
All right, let's go with Derek.
Oh yeah, man. The kid, the mom comes first. The spouse comes first.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Husband or
Welcome.
wife.
I mean, I'm gonna go the same. I'm gonna say spouse first, and even non-spouse first.
Okay.
You
I'm
know.
gonna go. I'm gonna go with same thing. I'm gonna say spouse. I'm gonna say spouse. Then I was handling some business on the side. Did Aki? I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Did you give your explanation of why you? Did you say spouse or kids come first?
No, spouse definitely first. I mean, Nick Cannon is not even married, so
Mm,
it's like, bro, that's why I had the question about are we actually talking about spouses or baby mamas or whatever? Because if it's baby mamas, then I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll be controversial and say that the kid comes first. If if
mm,
if it's baby mama, then it's the kids come first. But if it's your spouse, your wife or significant other definitely comes first.
that makes sense. Yeah. Before we let Derek explain more comments, Katie Rich says one God, two spouse, two spouses, I guess, and three kids if the parents are together. Katie Rich, what's happening?
It's good.
All right, Derek.
Well, I think the parent is more important because of the hierarchy of how things, with what I believe, that's how God set it up.
Mm,
And I am of the belief I actually really dislike when women put their kids first over, like Crazy News said, over the husband, your true significant other that you're living with and you're rocking with. You cannot put those kids first, because if your relationship is healthy, the kids will be in their natural position. So there should never be a situation or a conversation about you treating the kids this way over me. That should never even be a conversation. That
mm,
actually might speak to a bigger problem in the relationship.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I would have to agree. Definitely, I think it sounds like this sounds like when you put your spouse first, it sounds to me as a family hierarchy. I think that a family hierarchy is the best structure for a family because it it provides a stable foundation. So, and when parents prioritize, their relationship with each other, it definitely models a um, healthy partnership for their children. So prioritizing your spouse reinforces, the relationship, and which serves like, the backbone of a family. So yeah, that's what I would say on that.
Yeah.
What you got, Vulcan?
Yeah, for me, I think definitely want to go with spouse first and then the children. But even if they're not married, if they're
That's what we need to address right there. Yeah, what if
yeah,
they're not
yeah,
married?
if they're working towards being married, at least on the man's side, I don't want to leave whether she's going to be able to do that to chance. Women that already come in with children, they tend to be very child centered, which is good for a mom to be. But when she's going to have another man come into the picture, why would that man gamble that she's going to make that transition without being able to see it beforehand?
Mm,
So it'd be asking a lot of a man to say, "Look, I'm going to put the kids first, but once you marry me, then you'll be first." A lot of ladies and a lot of stories of men struggle with that, whether it's how to discipline the children. You're not really their father. You see all these videos going on viral online about where the ladies checking the man like that's not your children.
mm-hmm.
And so he's already in this marriage now, and now he finds out that she doesn't, she's not going to give up, you know, uh, the kids being the center of her reality. And it really sets a bad precedent moving forward because those kids learn that that's what's right, and so it makes it harder for them to couple as they get older, and also once they do, their priorities are all messed up. So yeah, I
Mm,
don't see any good reason to have the kids be first. I think kids, if taught properly, will understand a good boundary between hey, this is adult time,
mm-hmm.
because the kids are eventually going to grow up and leave the parents.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's my 3 cents on it.
Anybody want to add to that?
Oh, that's good.
No, I agree. I think James, you bring up a good point, but again, the difference between what I was saying and what you saying is I was talking about baby mama.
Yeah, yeah.
That's different.
Yeah,
Like
we don't
baby
even
mama.
live with her.
Yeah, yeah,
over there.
yeah. I'm with you on that. If you're not trying to work it out with baby mama, if you don't want baby mama, and you to end up being a thing, then there's no reason to put them first. Because at the end of the day, it's that she got to figure out her own situation and what she got going on. It's
And
both
I
of y'all's job to put the children first at that point.
and I think Nick Cannon actually said that. I think he said that he puts his children before
Yeah,
his
that's why. Yeah, that's what she was. That's what he was saying. He puts the children first. But if he's not with any of these women, then I get it.
yeah.
But whatever woman he ends up being with. Now I want to say this part too. Putting the children first isn't the same for a man and for a woman.
Mm.
All right.
So
Explain. Well,
for a man putting the children first, if he's a woman, when a woman comes into his life, that's a little bit different because his role traditionally now again the world's changing. There's all kind of different setups for family nowadays, but traditionally he's coming in to be the provider and protector for the entire family. So all of them are coming in under him, right? They're all coming under that structure. They're all coming in under him. They're all under his authority and his security. When a woman's bringing a man into her life, she's bringing somebody that should go above her. That's a different type of move.
mhm.
That requires a certain way of dealing with him that the kids have to adjust to. Because the kids may still have their dad out there, but they got to learn that, in this house, what he says is the end all be all. Now, again, that's in, I think, still predominantly most homes, especially around the world. This is how it is around the world. Now, in the Western places, there's different dynamics popping up. The women playing more the dominant role and the men taking the more passive role, and it kind of all being all kind of blended. So I'd say it's definitely different. So telling a woman keep their kids first to live with a man, part of the reason that men are attracted to women is because women put that man at the center.
My camera's hot.
Oh snap! That's what.
I mean, it's cute. It's cute. I wouldn't say it's hot, but
More comments. Dr. A. Williams said the kids will lead the parent, but the parent will follow or move with the kid. Y'all want to address that? The kids will lead the parent, but the parent will follow or move with the kid.
I'm not all the way sure what that means.
Yeah.
I get the first part, but the second part, but the parent will follow or move with the kid. Are you saying that it's typical for the parents to just follow the kids wherever the kid goes?
Yeah, elaborate, Dr.
So, yeah.
A. Williams.
Yeah, so if you can please elaborate on that.
Appreciate your comment. That's why.
The parent will move in with the kid. Oh, okay.
I meant move in. Okay. Any thoughts on that?
Anybody want to touch that?
You got it.
Okay, yeah. So for me,
No,
the
I'm
parent
still
moving
here. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, the parent moving with the kid. I don't know if that's customary for most American homes. Western homes. That's probably more common outside of the U.S. and outside of the Western world. I know, I know Hispanic communities. That's a common thing. I don't know if in a lot of African American homes that's that common. Once you're 18, you better join the military, go to school. That's how most of us was kind of raised. It's not a whole lot of family living with family in there. Not saying that's the right way to do it or the wrong way to do it, but that's normally not the case. So I don't know if that's common enough. And a lot of times parents, especially parents who don't marry and they stay single, they can burden their children a lot of times by the children having to take care of them because they didn't do their job to make sure their future was going to be secure. So that's a danger you run into as well. Okay. Now, parents need to be taken care of. Obviously, the children should do their best to accommodate that. Especially in the Bible talks about that as well. There's actually a word for it when the Pharisees wouldn't take care of their parents. They called it Corbin, meaning that I can't take care of you because all my resources are devoted to God. So I don't have the ability to take care of you. So that was something that was very much condemned. So we should definitely take care. That's part of honoring your parents. So we should be able to do that. But I still think it's responsible on the parents' end to not have to put themselves in a position to rely on their children to take care of them when they die. They should try to get their affairs in order as much as possible. But life's tough and inflation's real.
Absolutely. All right, y'all.
There's different levels
absolutely.
to it.
But at the end of the day, because I'm not a fan of Freud's perspective, is that it all comes from some reverting back to your childhood and some because we need to stop making those excuses and blaming mama and daddy
100%.
for who we are.
100%.
You can blame mama and daddy for the cause, but you can't blame them for the effect.
There you go. Or your choices later on once you become an adult.
Once you understand, like, yo, I went through some shit, but now I'm gonna.
But that's why mental health therapy.
All right. Y'all can hear me out there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, next question. Hey, does learning and addressing childhood trauma help the relationship? Does learning and addressing childhood trauma help relationships?
You gonna tell us who's gonna go first?
Let's go with Derek.
Ooh. I mean, I'll say this. It can. But I'll let you come back around. Yes, it can.
All right. Aki.
I mean, whose childhood trauma are we talking about? Mine or the kids or the wife?
Spouse, you and your spouse or significant other?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so, definitely, because...
Well, you say yes, right?
Because people need to talk about...
We're going to come back around. We're going to get you to explain. Vulcan.
Yes.
I'd say it helps, but not as much as everybody thinks.
100%.
Okay. All right. So Derek, go ahead and explain why.
Okay. So let's say you are a person, you have trauma. Let's put this box over here with these 100 traumas. If the trauma that you are dealing with is a trauma that directly affects relationship and you get healed in that direct area, that's what I mean by it could help relationship. But the way I truly view it is your traumas are all in this box, whatever they are. Me personally, they shouldn't even affect the relationship. You dealt with something when you was a kid. Okay, we've learned it, we've dealt with it, we know it, we're addressing it. But why is that? Why does that interfere with you respecting your person for who they are? Why is that causing you to not do the responsibilities you're supposed to do to your significant other? Maybe because I haven't had childhood trauma, so I can't see how they play the role together. Because I know I'll finish with this. I know a lot of people that will take that childhood trauma and use it as the excuse as to why they aren't good in relationship. Now that example, I know some people like that. So I would be telling them, hey man, that ain't got nothing to do with this. This is something else. This is you. And nobody that has been traumatized wants you to tell them this problem that is happening right now is you. They don't want to hear it. But you don't understand. You don't know what I went through. I know what I'm going through as a result of what you think you went through.
What's up, Aki? What you got for us?
Man, hold up. Wait a minute. Skirt. Let me put my foot in.
Yeah, get it.
Number one, childhood trauma is real. Okay, as a person who has been traumatized as a child, as a young person. Now, psychology is a spectrum. Okay. Now, I was able to deal with my childhood traumas because I was raised to. You know what I mean? I also had a solid family at home. My family at home was solid, but out in the street, it was wild out there. But I was able to turn my childhood trauma and identify myself and make it a positive thing. Now, here's the thing. Everybody doesn't have the ability to do that. Now, we want to say, oh, yeah, everybody should pull themselves up by their bootstraps and get themselves together and blah, blah. But guess what I realized as a businessman out here in the streets trying to encourage other people to do the same thing that I did? It's very difficult. You have people out there that say, oh, people ask me for money. Hey, Aki, can I get $20? No, let me show you how you can make $20. Oh, I don't want to do that. Or they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So some people that's why we have all these programs in America like welfare and food stamps. All of these people they're not lazy. They just don't know how to do whatever it is that you think that they should know how to do.
I'm with that.
Okay. Agree or disagree there?
Oh no, I'm with that.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
with that. But I still think within the sentiment that the childhood trauma, if it affects relationship, because I know some people with some traumas and their relationships are solid, but they deal in private or in secret or on their own with a therapist or whatever, but it has nothing to do with their relationship.
You're repeating what I said, basically.
I know. I'm reiterating what I started. Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Vulcan, what you got for us?
Yeah, so I want to make some distinctions in how we use the words here, because I agree with a lot of what I'm hearing. Aki says that childhood trauma is real. No doubt about that. The trauma was real, right? My concern is when somebody goes, okay, at 6, this happened to you, and then you're sitting in somebody's office at 30, 40, 50 years old, and they say, well, the reason why you do this is because of this that happened in your childhood. That's a big leap right there. And my issue, and this is the purpose of this show about critical thinking and being logically sound, right?
Here we
in
go.
Science, there's something called test of falsifiability. If I have a hypothesis, I'm not gonna just believe my hypothesis. I'm not gonna go to y'all and say, hey, look, y'all, this is what that truth is. It's incumbent upon me that I have to figure out, how do I test to see if this is true? So I'm going to attempt to falsify it numerous times. And if it stands the trial of that falsification, we can say this is a good theory, this is accurate. With a lot of psychological evaluations, with a lot of psychological trauma-based things you hear from the psychologists and therapists, there's no way to verify that. There's no way to tell if it's even relevant. You can have somebody who's an a-hole that had a traumatized life, somebody is an a-hole who has a non-traumatized life, and we can play this out. They walk into the office, because I've been in therapy as I was a little kid, you know, for something that wasn't really related to me so much, but just family stuff and this, that, and the other, and family got to go, or I got to go for other reasons. Not that I'm not crazy, because I am not. No, but so the thing is, you go in there, and when they hear about your childhood, they're like, oh, this affects you. The reason why you're like this is because of this. A lot of that Freud stuff.
Which is what, like you said, I just want to make sure what you said, and that's unfalsified.
You can't. They can't tell me that. And then somebody else walks into the office and does it, and they say, "Well, you're doing this because of this." So two people walk in the office doing the same things, and they give two different reasons why they did it, because they can't say it's this childhood because we didn't have the same situation happen in our childhood. So that's my issue with a lot of this addressing childhood trauma. If you in a relationship with somebody and they're putting their hands on you, and you go, oh, that's because they had an abusive home when they were a child. No, they don't put their hands on their boss at work. Sure. They had the same trauma. They're doing it if they get away with it. If I was El Chapo, they wouldn't be putting their hands on me if they was married to El Chapo. You think El Chapo's getting women putting his hands on them? No.
So walking around like that.
You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is saying we can get away with. And then whenever you make it about your childhood trauma, it's financially better for the psychologist, because then you got to always come here, because your childhood is never going to change. It's never going to change. It's in the past. If I tell you a jerk today, and that's why you did it because you were a jerk and you knew you can get away with it, you might not pay me no more. If I say it's not your fault, it's what you went through, and that's why you're this, I'll keep getting that money up out you.
Mm-hmm. And you'll never get healed or delivered from that mess. And you know what
Okay.
it is? You know what it is? I know there's a term for it. Maybe you guys know it. It's something about the psychology of correcting somebody in their emotional hurt. So if somebody like what you're saying with the childhood trauma, you very seldom hear the person go, "Hey man, no, it ain't that. It's this. You're being an ass right now. That ain't got nothing to
Yeah.
do with you being 6 years old and dealing with that. This is you, grown man.
Mhm.
You don't curse at your boss. You don't curse out your homeboy, but you're doing it to
Mm-hmm.
her. That ain't got
Mhm.
nothing to do with you. So, but very seldom when people say I dealt with this, most people are just like, yeah, I ain't gonna even touch it. All right, man. If
Mhm.
that's what you okay, and they
I,
leave
I
it
I
alone.
remember
Mhm.
I remember
That's
this
what's up.
pastor told me, and Derek and I shared this pastor at one point in time in life, told me, James, the reason why you always got to break down your points and explain why people are right or they're wrong is because I think what happened, God told me that you used to be told to shut up a lot when you were a child.
Oh gosh.
And so now you feel like you always got to speak.
I need a bag.
So he's put God, he's putting God on it, but still doing that Freudian psychology.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out. I
Golly.
agree, disagree. What's your thoughts on that, Aki?
I mean, like I said, I just think that
Keep it real with us.
like I said, I just think that life is a spectrum,
No
you
doubt.
know, and there's some people who can look at this pen and want to have sex with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you just
Okay,
never
where's this
know.
going? Where's this going?
Let's go.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
Can you
He
come
left it
back
up to
off
like
that
a
spectrum?
hypnotist.
childhood
He left it up to like a hypnotist too. So you want to this bed.
childhood
Like, my eyes
trauma,
start going like this. Jedi mind trick.
childhood trauma is definitely real. I don't believe that people should be using it as an excuse and throwing it around to other people for sure. Definitely not doing that.
Yeah.
I've never experienced nobody say, "Hey, you know what? I'm acting like this because somebody did something to me when I was 12." I've never heard nobody say that.
Oh,
But
okay. Yeah.
I do agree with you, James, because I watched this show called Karamo, and he tell everybody the same thing every day. He says the same thing to every person every day.
And you can't do nothing with it. You can't verify. You can't falsify it. So it's like, oh,
Falsified though.
and it also, oh yeah, we gotta you'll read the comment real quick,
Yes, Dr. A. Williams said, "Why are you hating on my childhood
I
trauma?"
think I think
Speak
y'all
to it,
hearing.
y'all.
I think
She
y'all.
said she senses some hate from y'all, man. Speak to it.
The fact that that question is even asked. I think y'all not. I think you're hearing what I'm not saying. I am because you've said it 3 times, Aki, that childhood trauma is real. No, I'm not saying it's not real.
Mhm.
You said it's a spectrum. I agree, which is why I said if your childhood trauma is not a trauma that's can directly affect relationship, then I don't want to hear about that when it comes to relationship. Your
And,
trauma can
Don't
be
you
real
think
in all
that's
these other areas.
mean? Don't you think that that's mean though?
No, no, it's
mm,
real. It's real.
mm.
It could be
It's
mean too, though. That is
it's
I
mean.
mean, I say it's mean because you know this person, and why would you want to hurt them?
I
That
don't want to
doesn't
hurt them,
sound.
but there's a okay. So give me a scenario. Let's take you. You my boy. You've had childhood trauma that has nothing to do with relationship, and then we're talking one day, and I say, "Yo, man, you got to treat her better, man. You can't talk to her like that." And then you bring up, "Well, man, this happened to me when I was 6." It's like, bro, that ain't got nothing to do with you talking to her. That's what I mean. So I'm not
Okay.
dismissing the trauma. I'm saying if it's not a childhood trauma that directly affects how you deal with your boss, your significant other, dude, we not gonna use it here,
Or
and I'm
maybe
not
he
gonna
had a
let.
revelation that childhood trauma is the reason why he beats up his girlfriend. And
Okay,
maybe he needs to realize that sometimes is maybe, sometimes recognizing when you have a problem is the beginning.
let's
So
let's say
maybe
that's
his
it.
so
Let's
maybe his homeboy talking to him about how he treats his woman triggered him into, you know what, man, you know what? This is the reason why I beat my girl, because my mom was beating the shit out of me. And you know
Facebook,
what?
Facebook, Facebook.
Beating me. And you know what? Thank you, bro. I'm going to work on myself. I appreciate that.
That directly
Because
relates.
guess what? You just made me realize that it is something that happened to me when I was younger. The reason why I'm doing this. Thank you, bro. I'm gonna be good, man. I promise you, bro. I'm gonna be good.
This is my issue with that, though. Nothing about that says it's really immoral, right? So if I'm doing it because of my childhood, that's just who I am at this point. Why do I need to stop? Can you accept me as how I am? I am this way as an adult. I put my hands on people because of what happened to me in my past. Can you love me in spite of that? Now go give me that sandwich.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying, y'all? What makes it immoral then at that point? If it's your
The world says it's immoral, though.
I think it's that time for the show. I think it's that time again. I think we got to go over terms. We got to go over terms, y'all. Hey. Oh, that was a delay.
I knew it was gonna be me. I'm sorry. I think you'll get away with this one.
All right.
You don't have a bleep button over there?
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Unfalsifiability. This is what Vulcan was talking about, man. Description is confidently asserting the theory of hypothesis of a true or false, even though the theory of the hypothesis cannot possibly be contradicted by the observation of or the outcome of any physical experiment, usually without strong evidence or good reasons.
Listen, y'all, I'm not.
Can you read that second part? Can you read that second part real quick?
Not this educated.
Second part, the logic, making unfalsifiable claims is a way to leave the realm of rational discourse, since unfalsifiable claims are often faith-based. Often, I gotta say it one more time. Often faith-based and not founded on evidence and reason.
I mean, doesn't Donald Trump do this every day?
That's because of his childhood trauma. Stop picking on him, right?
Yeah. His trauma just came with a gold spoon, that's all.
Both, you want to speak to that definition?
Well, I think the definition was great. And again, that was the point that I'm making. And and my issue is because a lot of us don't understand reason. We walk into these rooms with people who are therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists, and they're telling you all these things, and we don't have the tools to really ask them the right questions. As a matter of fact, I want to read the example here instead of making up one right now on the spot. It says, I have a tiny invisible unicorn living in my anus. I didn't know I was going to say that. My fault, y'all.
Facebook.
Unfortunately, these cannot be detected by any kind of scientific equipment. Explanation: while it may actually be a fact that tiny invisible mythological creatures are occupying this person's opening at the lower end of their alimentary canal, it is a theory that is constructed so it cannot be falsified in any way. Therefore, it should not be seriously considered without significant evidence. So that's the idea of it, y'all. When we're going into these situations,
I like how you read it. You need to start reading more often on the show. I like that.
I can barely read it. I'm having to squint to read that thing. But yeah, so we gotta consider that whenever we're addressing things, y'all. How do we falsify that? If I'm sitting with a therapist, I can tell you things a therapist told me, but we won't get into all that. I'll just say that there's no way, and they tell these things.
They didn't tell you nothing about that. Oh, go ahead.
They tell you things to little kids that are not even psychologically astute enough to be able to really vet what they're talking about. Oh, you're this because of that, or because of this that happened to you. This is what's likely to happen to you. This stuff gets very dangerous. And my issue is that it really plays a lot on women. I don't really hear men say the reason why they do what they do is because of their childhood. Because one, other men wouldn't tolerate it. You see what I'm saying? When men are dealing with other men, you can't be like, my fault, man. The reason why I keep doing this to you is because my dad. Wait to hear all that. Either you got to fix it, I'm gonna fix it for you. That's really the reality. I'm gonna stop dealing with you. It's gonna be I'm gonna fix it for you. I'm gonna stop dealing with you. The male world is very cutthroat in that way for good reason. Productivity and competence is what's rewarded. In the lady world, they're not as much about debate.
Well, why is that? Why do women get a pass on
I can't finish saying it first. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, break it down. I'm sorry.
So yeah. So the thing is, with the ladies, they're not as much about debate and justifying why they're not that they believe certain things. So when they walk in these environments, they don't have the same tools. And so you do hear typically more from ladies that say the reason I'm like this is because of my childhood, how I experienced my dad or my uncle or whatever. Because not saying that traumatized things don't actually happen that affect us, especially when it comes to sexual things, can affect us in that way. But the thing is, that's not a place to stay. And then you went into different ideologies where, from a more biblical standpoint, it'll be said that the reason why you're that way is because of sin. You need to repent of sin. It's not like this because your childhood, this happened to you in your childhood. It's because you, like all of us, evil feels good sometimes. Evil tastes good sometimes. Revenge is amazing, right? And I'm not getting revenge because my dad abandoned me. I'm getting revenge because it feels good. It's satisfying.
Oh, man.
But if I told you the reason why you're doing this is because you're a sick individual like the rest of us, you're probably not going to keep paying me. Aki, what you going to say?
I was going to say that, you know how some people say, I'm just going to sit back and let God handle it for me.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? God is using me to do your evil work. And back to what you were talking about, it's very interesting. But I know that if you guys can, this is no cap, if y'all can refer me some books to read, I mean, I would really appreciate it. Because I didn't expect this to be so cerebral.
Welcome to the Vocal Soapbox. Get your pen and paper. And what you were saying earlier, I thought about one of Mike Tyson classic interviews. I think I forgot who he was on a podcast with when he said that he knew he was sick in the head because he enjoyed inflicting pain on people outside of the ring. And that's what he said. I used to mess with his spirit because he said he actually enjoyed harming people, man. That was an interesting interview, man.
There's a gratification in it, and the thing is that we don't go over that too much in those sessions. At least I never heard people say that on the outside. It feels good. It feels good. Somebody, you have a close relationship with somebody, and they do something that makes you mad. You want to get even. You might want to get ahead. Yeah, and it's not about your childhood, because you probably didn't do it with your parents. Your parents would have smacked the teeth out your mouth, so you didn't do it with them. But with this person, they can't touch me. It's illegal. You know what I'm saying? So,
but that's where all of these sayings come from, like play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and
yes,
and that's where all of these sayings come from, just based on this what you just said, and this term that you guys are using, this falsifiability. I mean, Donald Trump does this every single day.
What does that other lady do? Don't get me started.
Uh-oh.
I'm talking about.
I'm messing with you, man. I don't do.
He does it every day. He does it every day.
Wait. I'm trying to. No.
So guys, let me ask y'all, why does this come up so often, especially in our community? Why does it come up so often? Childhood Trump.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Derek. What's up?
I think it's lack of adult responsibility.
Accountability.
Accountability.
Okay. All right. What's up, Aki?
I mean, I agree 1,000%.
Accountability. Okay.
Yes.
Vulcan?
I think it's accountability, and also with this mental health movement, which I'm for, there's some studies suggest that it's better to be counseled by a friend as opposed to professional counseling and stuff like that, or a family member. A lot of people's families so jacked up nowadays. I get it. You got to go to somebody else. They don't have the socialization skills to be able to have strong friendships. So I get that part. But originally, it's better to just have people that you trust that know you really well, that can see through your your BS.
For
Mm.
And you
sure,
know what?
man. For sure.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Because they know you. I know you,
I
bro.
just want to add to that I think that a community is extremely important. You have to have, I have a girlfriend that I talk to about things, and I make sure that she doesn't know the other people when I'm talking to her about it. You know what I mean? Therefore, it's not gossiping or whatever because she don't know them.
Yeah.
And and second of all, you have to be able to have the ability to be honest with yourself when you tell your story to somebody. A lot of people lie to even their friend because they want to get the answer that they want to hear
Yeah.
and not the actual truth,
Yeah.
and
That's that
can't handle the
confirmation
truth
bias,
when they
yeah.
receive it. So
Mhm.
you have to be able to be honest with yourself to be able to handle it, what's going to come your way. And you have to trust the person that you're talking to that they're going to not try to protect you or protect themselves from hurting your feelings. Those two things are very important. Without those, the conversation is mute. Because guess what? I know the friends of mine that I have that's just gonna tell me BS or whatever, and I don't go to them for nothing. It's just like I'll see you when I see you, but when I have pressing things, and I know that I give good advice because when some people have pressing issues, they come to me too. And so, because now I know my reputation is respected. Now, people know I love to run my mouth, but they know, when it's time to be serious, it's time to be serious.
And
Yeah.
what you're speaking on, that's like I said, that's good. That this is why we do that show because the things how we explaining certain tactics we use, certain methods we use, it's a name for that.
He said, "Do
And
that
that's
show." This show. He said, "Do that show."
oh man,
This show.
hey, whoops, yeah. So this show, what you was just
On this show.
this on this show, what you were just describing, Aki, is what they call confirmation bias. And you see that not only within our relationships, whether it's friendships, intimate relationship, even in the political arena, what we were speaking about earlier, um, it our biases sometimes influence our way of life a lot of times. So sometimes, like you said, we're not going to be totally transparent with the person because we want to get certain answer that's going to confirm our biases anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to. I can't put the definition up there, but I'm just want to let people know a lot of things that we see and a lot of things we hear. It is a term for that. All right, I think we covered that pretty well. Anybody before I get to the video?
You know what?
Something
Are you
short.
saying conversation or confirmation bias?
Confirmation bias.
Confirmation. I'm actually taking notes, guys, for real, straight up.
Oh man.
You should be. You're a good student.
Yeah,
No,
and so I also sorry. Go ahead, Derek.
no. You're good. You're good.
I was gonna say also what I wanted to cover as well is like there's a gender element to this as well. So we talked about accountability again. I mean, and this is the reality of it. A lot of this big mental health push. One, it's conflict of interest. People who tell us the mental health push, they make money off of mental health push. Just like if a doctor said, "Hey, meds," obviously they make money. The pharmaceuticals make money. I'm not saying that we shouldn't trust them but like everything else, when you get in legal counsel, I remember I was dealing with a legal battle 5 years ago, and I was calling around, and when the legal team found out who I was, they, oh, actually, we do business with the person you're talking about right now, so we can't do it. Conflict of interest. So that's a real reality. I also want to say this: they've done some studies on this They did a study on this. You want to read this real quick, sir?
Yes, confirmation bias is the tendency to search for, interpret, and recall information in the way that supports what you already believe. Confirmation bias, ladies and gentlemen,
A
please.
fake conversation.
Yeah.
In other words,
to quote two proverbs. One proverb says, well, actually, I'm thinking about three, but I'm just going to say it two. Open rebuke is better than hidden love. Open rebuke is better than hidden love. And then a rebuking tongue will receive more honor than a flattering tongue. A rebuking tongue will receive more honor than a flattering tongue. So keep that in mind as well. But I want
to touch on something that you said, James. When you talked about people going to the doctor and mental health push and all of this, and doctors are in the business, they're drug dealers. Let's just say what it is. But see, now we're going back to our other previous subject. See, now we're talking about advocacy.
Nah.
Now we're talking about advocacy, because when you go to the doctor, you have to speak up for yourself. Because I went to the doctor, they were going to put me on a diuretic because I had high blood pressure. I told the doctor, I'm like, I don't want to be on that pill. What do I have to do to not be on that? And she was like, she wasn't going to tell me. I had to say something. And she's like, well, you need to start sweating. So then I realized when I started doing my walks every day, I'm like, oh, I'm in the high blood pressure walk group. So I changed from because I wasn't sweating enough. I changed and started going to the gym. Now my blood pressure is 122/74. So what I'm saying is advocacy for yourself. Like in any situation, you don't have to go with whatever's given to you. That's being led. You have to speak up and ask questions. I never go anywhere without asking questions, because I'm like, and I tell my nephew all the time, he just sits there and lets stuff happen all the time. And I'm like, bro, one day we was in the car driving somewhere. It was like 3:30. And I said, well, come with me, and then I'm going to drop you off at home. He didn't tell me that his friend was going to pick him up at his house at 4:00. He just sat in the passenger seat of my car and let me drive him all around the world. And I'm like, well, bro, you need to speak up for yourself and say, hey, Uncle Aki, no, I don't want to go with you to X. Just drop me off because my friend. Some people don't have the ability to even do that.
And who is that? That's your cousin, your nephew?
My nephew.
Tell them tune into the Vocal Soapbox. We encourage people to ask important questions to get to the bottom.
Judge a man by his questions rather than his answers.
Yes,
but let me go
sir.
ahead and I was going to say with the gender difference right here, and I wish it wasn't so disjointed. I should have said it before we did everything else. But so they have done some studies on this topic, and one study that they did was they had ladies and guys too. And they told them they were going to do an experiment where they were going to see if they were going to face discrimination based off scars on their face in this interview for a job. So they put the makeup on the ladies and the guys. They put the makeup on them, and they show them the scars. So they can see the scars and say, "Look, we're going to just do a study to see, like, let us know if they treat you any different just because of the fact you got scars on your face." And so right before they get ready to leave, they say, hold on, we got to do a quick touch up on your makeup real quick, just to make sure it looks right. And when they did a touch up, they took the makeup off. But they still think the makeup is on. So you got women and men who think the makeup's on their face, but it's not. And they go and do the interview. And they come back after the interview is over and say, hey, look, did you face discrimination based on the fact that you had a scar on your face? Guess what the guy said?
No.
Guess what the ladies said?
Yes.
They said yes. Not only the ladies said yes, but they even were able to give quotes from the interviewer of the things that they said that made them think they were being discriminated against. There's something to that nature that makes ladies less likely to desire to take accountability. Not saying all women never take accountability. It's all of us got to work on our strengths and weaknesses. Men suck at all kind of things, prone to alcoholism, all kind of stuff. Men can barely read, 4th grade level. So but on this particular issue, I'm taking accountability. It is something that ladies tend to struggle with a little bit more. And there's something to that. Last study I'll say is a study they did where they had babies, girls and boy babies. And they put obstacles in their way and they had their mom call for them. The baby boys and baby girls. These are babies, mind you. This is before socialization. This is before being taught what you should be as a boy or a girl, right? And they put obstacles in the kids' way. And so when these baby girls and baby boys are being called by their moms, when the boys would have obstacles in their way, the boys would try to climb over it, knock the obstacle down. They're trying to figure out how to get around the obstacle, get to their mom. Guess what the girls did?
Sat there and cried?
They cried. And we are made different with different strengths and weaknesses. And so so my point is saying a lot of this mental health stuff is mainly pushed by a lot of women. A lot of women occupy the spaces in the humanities. A lot of women are counselors and therapists and social workers, and they do a great job. They care about people, they care about people, so they do those kind of jobs that are necessary to be done.
They help genetically.
They helped me out a lot as a child. But on the flip side of that, we got to be careful to understand that nurturing nature a lot of times can make us not take accountability. They don't provide the same structure. So when you're being told the reason why you're going through this is because your childhood is not your fault, that lack of accountability a lot of times can poison relationships.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And that's the thing, a lot of women that's in that field, especially in our community, you meet countless of women that have psychology degrees, sociology degrees, because genetically we just made different. Majority of the women are more into people. That's why when they go to schools, they seek professions that's helping people: nursing, counseling, psychiatrists, maybe. And men, majority of men are more into things. So that's the difference. So we got to be mindful of that. So we're gonna. I think.
I would say that's also why, they say they do the studies on how single moms raise children versus single dads. Single dads, the studies show single dads raise children about just as good as a two-parent home.
Yeah, I see.
But single moms, the high incarceration rates and teen pregnancy rates and crime rates, a lot of that stuff is linked to single mom raising children. And part of it is they don't provide the same structure and hold the kids accountable to the same level that a man would hold his children accountable. It's obvious. There's other factors that play as well. But that's one of the major factors. Aki, you said something?
That's true. You know what? I would say that, a lot of kids, now that you say that, being that I grew up with a single mom, I mean, my dad was there, but, he disciplined me by phone. You know what I mean? It's not that he wasn't there at all.
Yeah.
But I would say that I got away with a lot more stuff because I was with my mom that I know would never fly with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to take advantage of more situations.
And we know that as men, we kind of know where we can get away, what we can get away with, whether a mother versus our dad. I know we've been talking. I want to get Derek. You got anything you want to add on to this, Derek?
I like what Falcon was saying because I asked my mom that literally today. We were driving. I was driving her somewhere, and I said, Mom, you raised three kids. We all went to college, and we didn't have an abusive life. We were poor, but we were good. I said, but I think a single man raises a kid better than a single mom. And before I gave her any context, I said, what do you think about that? And she says, and I just knew it was going to be a long drive. And she said, you know what? I agree, son. And I looked at her, I was like, what? She said, I agree. And then after she agreed, then I said, you got to remember the woman came out of the man. I said, a man, because of the way we're wired, I can teach my daughter how to be a woman. I can teach my son how to be a man. I said, Mom, you can teach me manners. You can't teach me how to be a man. And she looked and she was like, you know what? I agree with you. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well, I think a lot of that is, I know we got to move on here, but it's the structuring things but it's also like a certain esteem of reasoning. And I think a lot of times when you listen to ladies give men advice about relationships, they give men advice based off of what they would want for their friend, but they wouldn't want their man to actually do. Like they'll be like, you got to be vulnerable, but they wouldn't want their man to be that vulnerable. I'm not saying every woman's like that, but there's so many studies been done and so many videos are online where a lady was like, I told my man to open up to me. He opened up to me, and now I don't find him attractive anymore. There was that. Y'all know if y'all saw that one video where the lady was talking to like a bunch of guys lined up and they got to rate the guys. And the lady was like, what's the last time one of y'all cried? Y'all guys toxic. She didn't necessarily say that. She was just saying, when's the last time one of you guys cried? And one of the guys starts crying and he goes, my best friend passed away recently. And he starts crying. And like two of the girls went and gave him a hug or whatever. But at the end, they got to rate all these guys at the end. He got rated last. Him crying turned him off. And most of the girls that I've shown that to said that he was actually the most attractive guy on there. But once he cried in front, they were saying that in the comments, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but once he cried, they weren't as attracted to him anymore. So a lady will tell a man to do things that you can do as a woman. Sorry, go ahead, Aki.
Is that the balloon pop show?
Yeah.
This one, I think it's before Balloon Pop. I don't know if Balloon Pop is out for this one, but it's very similar to it.
Because the people
similar.
on there, I wouldn't let them pick
be
nobody
warned
that
up.
I know.
I just go down the line.
I hope you're not referencing the Balloon Pop show.
Yeah. No, this wasn't the Balloon Pop one. But yeah, so that was a lady will tell a guy advice that she could do as a lady, and it will be okay. Women can be vulnerable. It's expected. It's more feminine when a woman's vulnerable like that. But she wouldn't. But she's giving him advice if he was a lady. She's not giving him advice to be a man attractive to other women.
You know what? I'm gonna push back on you a little bit, James, on this.
Yes, sir.
Because I say that, as a man myself, and I have lots of friends, and if something was to happen to my friend's family member or my friend's homie or whatever like that, and my friend cried, I mean, I wouldn't think he's any weaker or anything like that.
Can I address that?
You're a dude.
Yeah. I was saying, can I address that? Because I was going to say, Derek, you want to address it, Derek?
No, go ahead. I think the point Falcon was making was women, you can't tell. But remember, we're on the other side. We're the reasoners. We can reason and logic. And so we got a brother that's hurting. We're not even holding that against him. We're not even going to bring it up a year from there and go, use a punk ass for crying about. We're not even going to do that.
Yeah.
But a woman, not all women, but a woman will tell you, oh, you should tell me everything.
And then because...
And then
I just want to do my 2 cents in. I see shows they actually recommend guys to be part vulnerable with their friends and partners.
With the homeboys, don't do it.
Yeah. But go ahead. You was gonna say something?
I was gonna say, the woman's not gonna reject the man for being vulnerable. How it works is this: there's a friend zone, and then there's the erotic zone. Uh-oh. And if you're too vulnerable, you're gonna move from the erotic zone to the friend zone. So you're gonna get all the love and care a friend would get from a woman, whatever that is. But she doesn't want to sleep with you anymore.
Okay.
Rejection in a different way.
Especially close to cycle, some studies would suggest.
Well, I mean, you could be right. I mean, I guess,
All right. Let's get back right into it.
Is there anything left in that cup, James?
Say anything.
I know that's a prop.
Oh man.
All right, we at 17. Here we go. Let's go.
Understand, I went through some shit, but now I'm gonna.
But that's why mental health therapy, coaching, psychologists, seeing that, going to it. I go to one myself as a doctor. Everyone needs to be in it because it's not about us as a professional telling you your choices were right or wrong. It's about us helping you figure out the root of that choosing and the norm that you're in, and just drawing out a plan that works for where you want to be. Because a lot of people are still in the environment that they don't want to be in because that's the childhood environment they've taken with them, and they keep recreating the same pathology, and they're going crazy in that. There's lack in that because the evolution hasn't taken place. And it's not because they don't want to evolve, Nick. It's because they don't have the effective tools to do so. People who come in my session are not there saying, I always just wanted to be messed up. I don't want to evolve. No, they're saying, like, had I known this, doc, 5 years ago, I swear to God, I would have moved on it. Had I had this tool, I would have moved quicker. Had I knew this is what evolution looked like, I would have jumped a long time ago. Had I known I can jump without a life jacket.
All right. Next question. Does everyone need professional counseling? Let's start with Aki. What's going on?
I don't believe that everybody needs professional counseling. No, just like I gave a long.
Remember, we're gonna get you to explain.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, no, Derek.
Hell to the no.
Vulcan.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
All right, you said no. All right, go ahead. I can give it to me.
Yeah, like I said, as long as, to me, all of this is just about being honest. If you could be honest with yourself, you don't need anybody. But if you're unsure about your honesty to yourself, You just need a close friend to talk to, a confidant, basically. You know,
But
and
what you
if
mean? I
you
hate to cut you off. So what you mean you don't need anybody? What you mean by that? You want to
if
elaborate
you're
on
honest with yourself, you don't need anybody.
I don't need
And if
anybody.
you believe yourself, this is about self-belief.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter whether you're, eating cats or whatever. As long as you're being honest with yourself about what
Okay.
you do, regardless of whether or not it puts you in jail. That's not what I'm. You see what I'm saying? If
Yeah,
you're honest
being
with
honest with yourself.
yourself about what you do and have clarity, then you don't need anybody. Because guess what? No amount of counseling or no amount of talking to anybody is going to make you stop doing what you're doing unless you want to make that change for yourself.
Take a look at yourself and make a change.
Change.
Make that
I
change.
could definitely dig that. Definitely, if you honest, it's tied to reason. If you a reasonable person, you don't have to always seek out advice, especially pay for some a professional counseling. What's up, Derek? Talk
You
to
know,
me.
I told my mom, I think it was 4 years ago. I asked her a question that I knew the answer to.
Y'all be having some deep convos, man. Shout out to moms, man.
Yeah. I asked her a question and I said, Mom, I said, do you realize I'm 50? At the time I was 50. I said, do you realize this is the first time I've asked someone a question about relationship, about anything? And I said, and even now as I'm asking you, I already have the answer. I already have the answer that I believe is the right thing to do, blah, blah, blah. So I'm with him on if you think rightly and you believe, trust yourself or whatever, you don't really need this outside. I've gone to counseling with someone before, and I went into the counseling place and told the truth. And so when we're sitting there I sit there and told the truth, the counselor asked the other person, is everything he said true? The other person said yes. So I'm sitting there like, what the hell are we here for? We're here because, like what you said, Aki, is this person can't deal with the truth. They don't know how to operate within this new truth.
Oh, we gotta talk
And
about that.
so
Yeah.
this
Okay.
this whole idea that people need professional counseling, which is insane, um, it's just crazy. It's people not taking accountability. I think Falcon and I may have talked about this in the last month or so, but there is a thing of thinking rightly, if that's even a term. And I think a lot of people
I
don't
do
do
want to
that.
ask that though, because y'all both said that. Y'all said if you're thinking right, how do y'all know when y'all thinking right or being true to yourself or believe what y'all doing? How
It's as
what's what?
it's as simple as you grew up in America. You know you can't walk into a store and shoot somebody to take their money. You know you can't just go steal that car because the door is open. There are some things that you have learned along the way. And when you're operating on the outside of that, that's where people start taking, well, this happened to me, and that's why, I just kind of lost. No, bro, you wanted that, and you thought you was gonna get away with it. So, but Falcon will be able to speak more to it. But I think if you're thinking rightly, meaning for me, when I say that, I mean you're fair in your thinking. It's not selfish to Derek Bain. It's what I'm saying will help this person, that person, this male, this female. I could see statistically how what I'm doing will help most people. I think if people can get in that mindset and get off of just what's going to benefit them, they'll start to look at life a little differently and they'll start to think different. But when you're selfish, you can't see nothing but your experience and your pain and your what happened to you,
All
and
right.
then you operate out of it.
Vulcan, agree or disagree? What you think about what
What's been
Aki
said
and
so far?
yes, sir.
It's not that I mean, I definitely would echo a lot of what their points. I would just want to put a little bit more meat on that bone because I do agree self-awareness is critical, right? The thing is that self-awareness itself is a skill to be able to ascertain that, to be able to get to that point, to be able to attain that. And that's what we talk about. We already went over the falsifiability. There, you got different. You mentioned confirmation bias, right? We got to filter out our own biases. So that's part of it too. Matthew 7, first take the log out of your eye so you can see the speck in your brother's eye, right? So there is a process to that. And I'm gonna put a pause on that and go back to something about professional therapy. There is a usefulness to professional therapy because, like in the Bible, in the Quran, these places, it was only a small percentage of human population that had this wisdom. That could be the elders that can really help, whether it's the village chieftain or something like that, depending upon what civilization you were living in. Most people have very rudimentary understanding of things. Their competency is very average or below average, right? The thing about professional therapy, just like math, when we go to school to learn Pythagorean theorem and stuff like that, a lot of us couldn't create the Pythagorean theorem on our own, but we know it because we know a squared plus b squared equals c squared because some genius discovered it, and now all of us have the knowledge of the gods, have the knowledge of the geniuses, without actually having to do the work of getting that. In the same way, dumb therapists, average therapists, and genius therapists all have the same books and curriculum. So now they can counsel you better than the average person can because they have this cumulative amount of knowledge and written in books and the studies they have to go through to get where they are. Doesn't mean they're great at it. Like I said, they could be below average thinkers. They could be average thinkers, and they're only able to use the information to a certain extent. But they still have access to the information of geniuses or the wise or the gods, however you want to word it. They have access to it because all that knowledge has been bottled up and put into that book for them, right? And so in the same way, when it comes to, we're talking about the professional therapy versus from your friends and stuff like that, the friends may not have those skills. Like I said, confirmation bias. How do I know that whenever I'm trying to understand something, I'm not using my own biases to figure it out? Reference group bias. So you do need somebody to help you with those things, because even if you have the willingness to examine yourself, doesn't mean you have all the skills you need to be to do so. The Bible would say, "Where there's multitude of counsel, plans will not fail." So having that counsel, and a part of it is because even if you got a group of friends that aren't that bright, what the studies show, and I mentioned this example before on the show, that if you have a jar of Skittles, right? If we all try to guess how many Skittles are in that jar, we're probably gonna all be pretty wildly off. What the studies show, that once all of us guess, and then you divide all the answers, you get really close to the real answer, because with all the human brains combined, we are Captain Planet. No, with all of them combined, we're able to, all that cumulative knowledge is able to be used in a way to get us close to the answer. So we do need people to help us out, even if you don't have the smartest group around you, the wisest group around you. So there is a skill that we may need from outside of ourselves to even be more self-aware. You can have a bias not even aware that you have. And then on top of that, whenever it comes to when you're listening to somebody else helping you go through it, now you need the tools to be able to vet what they're saying and help them. And hey, look, I'm thinking this way. Are you seeing it the same way? You see what I'm saying? So so there is some skill you need to have. So self-awareness can't, for most of us, some of us are really gifted. And that self-awareness is all they need, because there's nobody that they're going to be able to find close to them that can counsel them better than counsel themselves. They could probably consult certain books, find certain gurus online, but their friends aren't going to help them very much. But for the average person, the below average person, which is most of the human population, they're going to need help to be able to be self-aware. I know I took a lot of time on that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. I would just say definitely, man. I know personally I needed help to acknowledge my biases. I probably knew that I was operating on my biases, but once I encountered some of my friends and they was able to point it out, then I thought I was pretty good at noticing certain things. But when you got other people that's observing you and noticing certain patterns, it definitely helps. So I think we can get a lot of things on our own, but once you adopt the system, like I said, the system way of thinking, incorporate critical thinking, it does definitely highlight your biases a lot more than the average person. I say that. Anybody else got to say something? Want to add to that?
I'll add this last thing, because it one of the things Balkan is saying I've experienced. I remember when I was a financial advisor, I was in my 30s, and I used to work my butt off to be the best presenter in the, that existed in San Antonio. And I had at least 4 or 5 people say that Derek Bain is conceited. Now, those that know me I mean, I am so far from thinking highly of myself. It's ridiculous. So, but what I was able to do was to sit back and say, wait a minute. Even though they wrong as hell, if 4 or 5 people are thinking this, oh yeah, wrong as hell. And I'm going to explain. If 4 or 5 people are thinking this, what am I doing that's making them think that way?
Being conceited.
No, no,
What?
no.
What is
It is
going on here?
that is not it. That was not it. They were calling confidence conceit, but I understood why they saw it the way they did, and it was how I came across. What I'm telling you, if you know me, it wasn't conceit. It was just the way that I worded it. So I was able on my own to recognize, damn, when I say stuff like this, like if you get me on tithing,
Mhm.
first thing in the first 3 minutes, you're gonna say I'm conceited because I get in a haughty way, on
I,
the on
I,
that topic.
I
I
can
be
got
ready
his
to
hand
go.
up.
I be
What's up,
ready to
Aki?
go.
What?
What's up,
Listen,
Aki? Talk to me.
What?
listen. First of all, don't ever be ashamed of who you are.
What? That's not ashamed.
There
I
is
was not.
a
Hey,
shame.
if I'm
Because
conceited,
wait,
I
hold
would
on.
tell
I
you.
don't want you to get all defensive, Derek. This is the thing. Vulcan, where you go? What happened?
He's going to fill up that cup.
Okay.
Vulcan,
Listen,
come back.
if 100 people are calling you conceited, listen, they don't have to know you.
5. Bro.
5 people.
Come
Okay.
on.
5 people that you know.
You got to
One
are
too
carry the
many.
saying,
one.
No, none
One
of these
too
people
many.
know me. None of these people know me.
okay, but
That's
they
the
don't
point I
have
was
to know
making
you
is that
to
they
know
don't.
that you're conceited, that they can perceive that you're conceited. And like you said, you are doing something that makes these people think that, but there's pride in that also. There's pride in you being that way. So if you're coming off as being seen as conceited, it's because you want to.
No, no,
Well, let's get Vulcan here.
no.
What's your
That
thoughts about what's
that
your
ain't
thoughts
it,
on what
bro.
Derek's saying?
That is not it.
Listen, I know when to act bougie. I know when to act ghetto. I know when to turn it on and turn it off. I know when to be professional. I know when not to be. It's not cosplaying and it's not code switching. I guess you could call it code switching, but I mean,
There
listen.
is never a time in my life where I have mentally, internally said I need to be conceited right here.
No, you're not gonna say that to yourself, but the audacity of others saying it to you. I mean,
Bro, if I could put you in the situations that I'm talking about, you would change your stance. I'm talking about a person seeing me present, and because of the way I present, oh, he think he this.
oh, they could just be jealous. I mean, that could be
Well,
the other angle.
there it is. But here's
Was
the
that
thing. Matter of fact, I'm glad you said that because of the 5, probably 4 of them were jealous. But here's the thing point I was trying to make. They still felt that way, even though. Whoa, what is this? Sorry about that,
why
guys.
that why
Amber
that's
alert.
Amber, how do you get it off? Uh, oh, he was on too. I still had to recognize that I don't want nobody to view me that way. So even though they wrong, they still perceive it. Even though I think their perception was wrong, they
I
still
would just
perceive.
let it ride. I'd be like, okay.
I'll end with this. Once I recognize what I'm doing, that would make anybody say that. I was from that day forward, I was able to see it coming in myself. And matter of fact, I would tell you like this: Hey, man, Aki, I'm about to say something, Doc. I'm just your brother. I'm being real, but it's gonna sound straight like this. Like I recognize it now, but I'm still not doing it from a conceit standpoint.
My friends don't have to explain themselves to me when they talk to me. If they have to do that, then we're not even on the same vibe or same level.
Well, you might meet some new people. You might have to do that with me. I don't know you. I might need you to explain what you about to say crazy to me when I don't know you.
all right? That was good. Good. I always like when people bring testimony, real stories. It definitely
Well, I
make the
want to
show
say
more
this.
relatable. Before I go out, yeah, just keep it concise, and we can move on. Go ahead, make a
I'm
point.
going to say this really quickly. And I heard what you just said, Derek, but I'm going to say this. It takes people a long time to become who they are. A long time. And I'm not going to get to where I am and understand my ability, my consciousness, and allow other people's words disrupt my consciousness
Mm.
and make me realize something about myself that's not even worth realizing. Because guess what? Like Eddie Murphy said, Eddie Murphy didn't say that. But anyway,
Basically what Aki said. Tell what Aki said.
but and
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I, I I I said all that to say because
All right.
it takes like I said, it takes you a long time to become who you are. And once you get there, you can't let other people's words sabotage how you think of yourself to where you have to realize what you're about to do. And when it's not hurting anybody.
Mhm.
Well, what if, well, I'm gonna get back to the video. I do want to address that. I'm gonna get back to the video then. Hopefully, one of y'all, if I forget, remind me. All right, let's get right back into the video because we're on time. All right, here we go.
And you guys can continue to lead by example to your grown children on what a healthy relationship looks like. And it's not perfection. Another thing is this whole toxicity and dysfunctional thing. And I'm leaving this person because they're toxic. You're going to be alone. Not you. I'm saying people. You're going to be by your damn self, because let me explain something to you. If you get someone who's not toxic, it's because they're not human. In every relationship,
That's what I was saying in our first
yes,
section.
every relationship has some level of healthy dysfunction and some level of healthy toxicity. There's no way for you and I to cleave together without doing some of this bumping.
Right.
It's not going to work like that. So we have to be okay.
Wow, interesting. Question: do women and men chase perfection, aka a fantasy partner? Do women and men chase perfection, also known as a fantasy partner? Let's go with Aki. Talk to me.
These terms, fantasy partner, I like that. And you know what? And everybody has their mindset about, oh, I want this perfect person. They have it in
Hold
their
on.
mind.
Wait. I hate to
Oh,
cut
I'm
you
sorry.
off.
I keep doing that. My
It's
bad.
all good. It's all
Does
good.
women and men chase it? Yes, they do.
All right, let's get my man Derek on. What's up? Talk to me.
Be, because of how the question's worded, I'm gonna say no.
All right, no. Vulcan. Talk to me.
I'm gonna go. Women definitely.
Yes or no? Yes or no? We'll come back to that.
I'm gonna
Yes or
say
no?
Follow the rules, please. No, I'm just...
yes. I'll go yes on this.
Okay.
Aki, go ahead and explain. Talk to us. Let us
Well,
know.
everybody has their dream partner that they want, the fantasy. But, as they were talking about it, and as I was, reading the question, I'm thinking to myself, well, how boring is a perfect fantasy partner? That's not a life of fun. And, everybody needs to be challenged, is what I'm trying to say. If there's no challenge in a relationship, there's no, I just think it would be boring. I think it would be boring if you actually
okay.
found that perfect person that you wanted, because you, in the back of your mind, you're gonna be thinking, is he gonna kill me one day?
Okay. So you say a lot of times relationships get boring, so that's part of why they seek out the fantasy partner. Is that am I
No, I
saying?
didn't know we were talking about cheating.
No. I said they get bored. That's why they probably seek out or think of chase the fantasy.
Well, yeah, because you always want to upgrade.
That's what's up. Well, let me get Derek in here then. What's up, Derek?
I think between the sexes, women are chasing the fantasy.
Okay.
Falcon gave a great uh, story last time on, taking X amount of men and giving them 80% of their dream person, and a whole lot of men said yes, they'll take 80% of their dream person, and a very small percentage of women would take 80% of their dream person. So I would say a woman is more chasing perfection than a man. And so that's why I answered the question no, because I think, now don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm probably single today because I have a little bit of that in there. But if I could find it in 60%, I would take it. Ain't found it yet. So,
Mm.
yeah.
I think that's why they sell women shiny things.
Mm. All that glitter ain't gold, though. All that glitter ain't gold. The women and men chase perfection, aka a fantasy partner. Vulcan.
Oh,
What's
Vulcan.
on
I'm
your
sorry,
mind?
Vulcan. Before you go, this question I asked one day was, dang, women over 40, does marriage even exist anymore, or is an adventure partner what everybody's looking for? It's like nobody wants to be married, but they want some guy to go on a trip with them and travel the world and live their best life. And I'm like, no. Anyway, go ahead.
Mm.
Yeah, is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's I would have to echo what Derek said. You know, in the same way as saying, for women, it's definitely a fantasy part, and then for the men, to a lesser extent, I think part of it is how astronomically outlandish is the chances to where we say it's a fantasy. So there's a certain amount of men and women that just drew the lottery with the looks, with the income, with the swagger, with the confidence, with the confidence.
Aesthetically gifted.
Yeah, they got the aesthetics. They got all of it. That's a small percentage of the human population, especially on the man side. So
Oh,
they have it.
we said
They have that edge on everybody else, and so they can really get what they want to get. They can get it from any country they want. They can go somewhere else if they need to get it somewhere else. They don't have it here. And there's women who are so attractive, so beautiful, they can be pretty demanding. But even the issue with that is beauty's a lot more common than men that I just mentioned before. Houston, Nashville, Austin, New York, Atlanta, Seattle, beautiful men everywhere. We didn't even get into Cali. Beautiful, and that's just in this country. So beauty is a lot more available than a man who's good looking and competent and confident and affluent and things of that nature. So the reason why I would say the ladies are more into the fantasy is because when you ask women what they want in a man and they start giving the attributes, if you run the numbers, okay, he's got to be 6 foot. Run the numbers up. You can Google what percentage of the population is 6 foot. Then you say he needs to make this amount of money. You can Google the amount of men who make that kind of money. Just those two alone, you've already decreased the population. And then a lot of women have race preferences. That's going to limit the pool a whole lot.
just
You
keep
think
getting
it's race or
smaller and
complexion?
smaller.
You think it's race or complexion?
Like, what do you mean, like with the women, or you mean like
Yeah,
I
what you
believe
just
race?
said. You said women have race things, but you think it's more about complexion, or you think it's actually race?
I think it's more race. I mean, I'll say this because a number of, and this is anecdotal, but I think this is an accurate reflection of reality. So I'm gonna use it. Women that I've met that are just say, I just date black men. That's it. I've tried to encourage them to date men outside of black men. I'll say, well, in Houston, there's plenty
Oh
of
man,
Indian.
Dr. Umar is about to come on live and
I
swing.
see.
Yeah. There's Indian men that are just as darker than a lot of black people.
That's what I'm
facts.
saying. That's why I
And
asked the
I've
question.
said, why don't you get you a nice Indian man? If you want that melanin, not the
Mhm.
same.
Yep.
The
Not the
melon is
same.
different from Nigerian melon. The Indian
They
melon
want
is
they want a
different.
black man, and it's not about the complexion. So I would say it's definitely a race thing. I mean, it goes into other things as well. I
Absolutely.
don't. But yeah, so I would say it definitely is more of a race thing than a complexion thing. Now within the race thing, there's a complexion thing. I'm not saying that's not there. There's a complexion thing in there as well, but primarily I would say it's more of a race thing than a complexion thing, because there are Mexicans who are very dark, there are Indians who are very dark, there's
Sure.
Asians that are very dark, but they're not going to be like, if they say they want a black man, they're not talking about them.
Well, we all know that black is synonymous with America, so there's no such thing as black as far as I'm concerned. But in America, I'm black. But I know once I leave this country, I'm not black anymore.
What are you?
Huh?
What are you in other countries?
American.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, social construct.
Yeah,
See
so
that?
I would say what I try to encourage ladies to do is to do the math, and that's why I say with men I wouldn't necessarily say it's a fantasy because a man typically would be like, man, I'm not going to settle until I get a woman who's not toxic at all. To Dr. Bryant's point, and no matter what lady you're going to deal with, a lot of them are going to have certain issues with accountability and crying or even getting a little bit abusive at times. That if you're not going to deal with it at all, you're just not going to deal with a woman. I've had women tell me that. Well, I'm sorry what I did, but I mean, if you don't want a woman that does that at all, you must not want a woman to be with a woman at all. The highest reports of domestic violence are in lesbian couples. That's a part of the feminine nature. So my point is just saying that it gets to be
Accept
fantasy because
abuse. No,
it gets to be fantasy because you're adding up all these different variables and expecting to find a person, and the percentages get below 1% really fast. Men don't typically get that bad with that. With the
0.12.
yeah.
All right, I think that's pretty good. Let's go.
No matter how I feel. That goes back to what? Emotional intelligence.
Right.
Emotional intelligence is a nucleus to any healthy relationship. If I'm committing to you and you piss me off, I've committed to stay. So where am I going? Where am I going? Doesn't mean I can't take a break. Doesn't mean I can't take a pivot. I can't go to brunch. I can't meditate. Can I take a weekend of woosah? But that means I'm not leaving you. And as an abandoned woman, thank God I've evolved into a place of deeper than just not leaving you, meaning
She said she's not leaving. Not leaving. Question for the panel. Who is more emotionally intelligent, women or men? Let's start out with that question first. Who is more emotionally intelligent, women or men? Aki.
Emotional intelligence. Let's see. I would say men.
All right, men, let's go. Derek, talk to me.
Men.
Vulcan.
I'm gonna go. It's a toughie, but I'm gonna go men.
That was tough. Really, bro. What's up? What's up, Aki? Explain why.
He knows. Did you say yours?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go with men.
We got to make sure we ask him to say his too, y'all. We'll be letting them slide. Go ahead.
Oh man.
I think that men are more emotionally intelligent because we know how to deal with situations better. And we really only get emotional. When I say emotional, that doesn't mean crying, obviously. We only get emotional when our intelligence is challenged.
Yeah, that's one of the ways. I think a lot of men too, we like to display anger probably more than other emotions. What's up, Derek?
I think obviously I think men are more emotionally intelligent. I think we're better able to manage our own emotions, but it may stem a little bit from men are bred to be accountable. If a dude sitting on the couch and you know he's 410 pounds, he's playing video games, he's not working. If he ever started to talk about dating a woman, his homeboys and life itself would hold him accountable to what he's not going to get. But then when you get on that other side of the fence with the women, have you heard two women talk to each other? They will straight up lie to each other. She's not fat. She's just big bone. And so I think the lack of accountability on that other side makes them the lesser of the two in the emotional intelligence department.
So go.
I didn't like that. I don't use that word in my vocabulary. I don't use the emotional intelligence because I seen different scholars go back and forth that if that even exists. So for me, I said men because I went ahead and looked up the definition because I like to define things before I get in depth. of what I'm speaking about. So yeah, let me just read the definition for y'all. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Small emotional intelligence is a set of psychological faculties that enable individuals to perceive, understand, express, and control their emotions. Now, when I read that first line, I said, yeah, I could say men, because men tend to control their emotions better than women. Like we said earlier, a lot of times in relationship, women tend to get a pass of bringing physical harm to their spouse. We kind of like what Vulcan just said earlier. If you're not willing to go through that, then you probably don't want to be with a woman. So that first line, that's why I said men probably have a higher emotional intelligence than women. Emotional intelligence facilitates thoughts and actions that take emotions into account, including the use of emotion to motivate oneself or others, or to pursue long-term goals. That sounds up, up the alley of what I witnessed men doing, including the use of emotions to motivate oneself or others, or pursue long-term goals, and underlies the successful exercise of social and communicative skills across a broad range of life experiences. So, the rest of it's kind of self-explanatory. So that's my reason. Going off that definition, I would have to agree that parallels with uh, men being more emotionally intelligent.
So yeah, for me, I would say it was tough for me, and I know you thought it was kind of funny to be tough for me, but
It was
when you look
definitely
at
hilarious. No,
yeah,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
when you look at the definition of emotional intelligence, three of the four I would definitely give to men. One of them I would give to women when they break it down into
Hold
like
on,
four.
brother. Hold on, brother. What's your source? I'm reading from the encyclopedia. What are you reading from?
Just I don't know, whatever I've seen online and stuff like that.
I'm messing. Go ahead,
Yeah.
bro.
So like I've seen it broken down into 4 or 5 different categories.
Hmm.
Most of them I would give to men. Regulating your emotions, I would give that to men. Women are on a hormonal cycle that men don't have to deal with. So being on that hormonal cycle, whether you're pregnant, you're not pregnant, all that kind of stuff, that is definitely. I see Derek over there smiling. Yeah. So yeah. Being on as far as regulating emotions, men have it easier, and they don't have the same hormonal imbalance that women have to deal with. So it's expected for a man to regulate his emotions. How are you going to be the leader of the home if you can't regulate your emotions? I think the area where I would give women the advantage is social skills. Most studies suggest that women are better socially than men on average.
For
Men,
sure.
men are a lot more being prone to being socially awkward. Like, just to kind of give examples, everybody can identify. You got Screech, you got Urkel, you got Waldo. Remember from Family Matters,
Yeah,
Saved by the
yeah.
Bell.
Mhm.
You don't see a lot of female equivalents. Even if you do find a lady equivalent, it's not to the same number as the males.
Yeah.
I
So
just, I mean, listen, if that's very strong right there, what you just said, because I know a lot of
Um,
quirky women, a lot of them.
yeah. I would say but we also got to remember when we're talking about things with numbers, there's over 300 and something million people in America. You're gonna find a little bit of everything. Whether it's people like to lick bees. If you type it right, people that like to lick bees, you're gonna find a whole community of bee lickers.
mhm.
Whether you know a bee licker or not, right? And the same
Right.
thing.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
Yeah, and so you're gonna find women who are like that for sure, but it's nowhere near the same limit as the men. Like, I mean, I go to places where there's gamers. When I was in college, the gamers will take over a place, and they smell funny. They're dressed. They don't have edge ups. Their hair is all kind of different places, whether they're white or black or Hispanic, and it's mainly the guys. There's girls there too, but the difference is, and the funny thing, a lot of the more attractive girls in that group don't date the guys that are in that group. They're dating some guy that's not even there. You see what I'm saying? So those guys have very limited access to ladies, but those pretty ladies don't have a lot of access to men. So they still develop their social skills on a different level because they're playing at a higher level, more competitive level. So I'd say, as far as regulating your emotions, and that's going to be, I would give that to the men, which is, I
Mhm.
think people will typically think about emotional intelligence as self-awareness and ability to be able to manage people around you's emotions and perceive people around you's emotions. I'm gonna give that to guys. They can typically regulate that better.
For sure. For
Uh,
sure.
women, social skills. I'm gonna give that to women. Social skills.
Yeah, social mobility. I
Now,
agree with that.
Now, when it comes to things like empathy, that one's tougher. I don't know who to give that one to. I would probably say it's difficult.
Empathy. I think that men are probably more empathetic than women. The women are more sympathetic than men.
Maybe a relationship overall, just when they look at anything that's going on in the world.
Men have empathy, period.
Yeah.
Okay. I like how
women lack empathy. They have a lot of sympathy.
Yeah,
they
I
don't
like how
really
Aki
have a
said
lot of
that.
empathy.
I do like how Aki said that.
That's where the mean B word comes from with women. It's because they don't have no empathy at all.
Yeah, because empathy is putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. I don't know if ladies are really good at that part, but they definitely can provide sympathy for you.
That's good. Good stuff, bro. Good
yeah,
stuff.
I would have to go with Aki on that part right there. So yeah, that's why earlier, when you were laughing and thought I was a little crazy, I didn't say the men immediately, is because I do think a big issue with men is the social skills. That's why you have men who are like image consultants and stuff like that. I've seen guys that I'm like, man, that guy could sharpen himself up and be more competitive in the dating market or
and be a beast on these
interviews. Yeah, interviews and stuff like that. But he doesn't get the social stuff that's going on. He's not getting it.
And you know what? You see a lot of that displayed on a lot of our sitcoms. A lot of times the husbands are a little dorky or quirky or whatever. The wives of those in those TV shows are usually on point, could articulate themselves pretty well. Even
if you look at like Kim Peek in the movie, I think it was A Beautiful Mind or whatever with the genius. They used to be called, historically they were called idiot savants. That's not politically correct to call them that, but savants. There's a lot more male savants than lady savants, and they're socially awkward. They can count how much sand is on the beach, but they can't interact socially very well.
But that's called Asperger's syndrome.
That's more male than female dominated. That's my point. You look at the homeless. There's more male homeless. They're socially awkward. There's more male homeless than lady homeless. So, there's a lot of different markers you could look at where people that struggle with social skills. Whether it's alcoholism, that's more male than female. So the ladies tend to be more stable in a lot of ways, not emotionally, but just not being alcoholics and things of that nature, being able to function in society.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like the success rate, I guess if you look at the numbers, it's probably going to be more male geniuses than women by a long shot, right? But on the opposite end, it's more men that's probably mentally struggling with mental health issues more than women. So men do greater on the upscale of things, and they do worse on the bad parts, right?
Yeah.
So next question I got for y'all. Oh, wait a minute. That wasn't. Okay, next question. Should we commit to stay no matter what? Should we commit to stay
in relationships, right?
Yeah, definitely a relationship no matter what. When you're in that relationship, should you stay no matter what? No matter what you're doing, stay. Oh, he's quick with okay, let's go with Derek. What's up?
No.
All right, Vulcan. Yeah. I know it's tough.
I'm gonna interpret no matter what loosely and say yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
Oh well, if I do it loosely, I would say yes too.
Okay.
I'm a forever dude.
Listen,
ever,
guys.
and ever.
All right, now,
get him, Aki, get us.
Should you say stay in a lot of people do because they're too weak to leave the person that they're with.
We're going there with it.
Yeah, it's about weakness. Period. It's about weakness.
It takes a strong person to leave.
Staying is weakness, leaving the body.
Yeah, women, it's easier for them to leave, even with children, than it is for a man to leave.
Ooh.
They will grab those fucking kids and get out of there. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm bad. Boop. They will grab those kids and get out of there. And and I know because I saw my mother do it. She did it. She did it so gangster that my father was walking up the street when we pulled off in the U-Haul and didn't even stop and say bye.
Dang,
Bye, Dad.
I had to wave at him through the window. And we didn't go down the street. We went to Georgia.
All the
man. Wow, we laughing.
You know what? You know what? I did not like Gladys Knight because of that song.
Yeah.
Because I literally lived it. That song got in my mom's head. This lady made my mom leave my dad.
Wow.
I'd rather live in this world
Sing.
than live.
I do. So where we at now? You know.
I was going to vote. Derek, explain the Vulcan. Explain. Let me put the question back up there for y'all.
I agree on this front. I don't think you should stay no matter what, because there's always that thing. But I would say, to push back a little bit with Aki, is I think it takes strength to stay in certain cases, because that person could be honoring their commitment. You know, when you commit to somebody and you say for better or for worse. Now, I'm not ignorant to the point that there are some things that are way past that worse, but there's a whole lot of stuff
chopping off your manhood and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hey, that happened. Hey, we both going to see Jesus. We both ought to go be out of there after that. But I would only push back for that is that I think it takes strength to honor the commitment of staying, depending on what that thing is. I'll give you a quick example. I know a pastor. Oh, this is extreme, but I know a pastor who his wife cheated on him 200 times.
Oh gosh.
200 times. Now, bro, I'm out of there. I'm out of there.
Did she die after 200, or is she still alive? Like, why?
No. You know what he did? You know what he said? Wow. He said, not only did I forgive her, I understood what was happening to her had nothing to do with her.
Her childhood.
No. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. No, he stayed with her. She's a faithful woman now, but I know good and darn well that would be my.
Now with who? That would be with who? Somebody else?
No, with her husband. With her husband. Now that's the extreme, but that's also him looking at it more in the spirit than in the natural.
No, but, he just didn't have proper peer review. He didn't see why cancer in his friends told him.
She had a lust issue that was just out of control.
Issue? And that was it.
he loved her passion. But you know what? If they're happy now, and he forgave her for that, that's a better picture of what Christ did for us than any of us using the excuse. Well, she did this against me, and I'm gonna leave, and everybody's gonna justify me leaving because of this. Whereas this brother said, no, I've sinned against God more than 200 times and he ain't gone nowhere. And I'm supposed to be the example to this woman. So I think it takes more strength. Because I'll tell you right now, I ain't no simp. Yeah, and I'm a stayer. If I'm breaking up with you, it's got to be bad.
All right, Vulcan. Agree or disagree? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, again, I mentioned earlier that I love what both Derek and Aki said. She's not going to go.
Oh yeah, I said the analogy I can use is definitely shows a man's character if he stayed through tough times. The analogy I was going to use, just like a guy on the battlefield, a soldier on the battlefield, he keeps fighting. He fighting for the purpose, whatever his mission was, and your mission is to be with your wife or your husband to better and worse, man, and honor that commitment. That's a wonderful thing. But morally, I think for a couple of reasons, if the spouse is being violent or I don't want to say violent, being abusive and practicing infidelity, I don't think you should have to stay for that. So I wouldn't do that.
So when it comes to, I don't think you should have to. Okay, we can be on the same page about that. Do I just think it's better if you do stay? To Derek's point with that 200, lady,
You can't
she's
even
put up.
say it. Go ahead.
Yeah. I would have to say that to me, that's a better story. And I want to say this too. There's what's good for the individual, right? So all of us as individuals, we live in America. We can do what we want to do, and and our happiness is so fleeting and flimsy nowadays. We're not like our great grandparents. So the thing is, we will leave at we'll leave at a moment's notice. But I do think it's a better story, as far as the character of the person, if they are able to stick it out, and it's definitely better for the children. It's definitely better for the children. So that for me is the biggest thing. Now I'm not saying that I could stay no matter what. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that look, everybody look to me and you shall be free. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think that what we know about the statistics on people who in blended families and or broken families and stuff like that, a lot of the ills of community, of our society, come from broken homes and kids being in environments with single moms and stuff like that. It would be better for them to stay together and find a way to make it work. Yeah. It'd be better for society that way. So I think we should, except for extreme situations. So that's why I decided to say yes instead of no, because when it was worded, no matter what, that's extreme. But I'm going to go with the major versus the minor. There's minor situations. There's the margin, the small margin where there's things that obviously somebody might be trying to kill you or something like that, or delete you, I should have said, then yes, you need to get away. But outside of things like that, it's better for society if we stay.
Yeah. He don't take me on dates no more. It's gotten boring. What?
Yeah, happiness. I'm not happy anymore. We grew apart. Yeah. A lot of that stuff is killing the children or deleting the children.
I got something to say. And y'all, I've been through several cycles of these batteries over here. So my camera only lasts like 45 minutes, okay? Then I gotta switch batteries and all of that.
Because we spend the hot stuff on it, man.
So I don't think that if you're not sexually satisfying your partner, I don't think you should have an expectation that they're not doing something.
Say that a different way.
A different way?
Yeah, I didn't understand it that way. Can you say
if you know that you're not satisfying your partner sexually, how could you get mad at finding out they're being an infidel?
Well, let me tell you what I would say to that. Because our lack of satisfaction is not written in tablets of stone. We're human beings. We're frail. What satisfies us or doesn't satisfy us is not based off anything real. Just to give an example, I could eat some food that y'all would tell me, James, there's no sustenance in that food you just put in your mouth. But I will still feel full. I can be satisfied.
That's like in the Matrix movie.
Yeah, and not have any type of sustenance. Conversely, I could eat something and think I'm not satisfied. I had to tell one of my coworkers recently, it takes 15 to 20 minutes for your body to realize that it's full. He's eating and eating and eating until he feels that full. And now he's been overeating for 15 to 20 minutes. In the same way, just because I'm unsatisfied doesn't mean the problem is in the individual, in the other person. The problem could be in me. How do I know the problem is in me? Why am I unsatisfied? Maybe the problem is my relationship with God. Maybe the problem is relationship with myself. That's
all
a
of
possibility.
that.
That's a possibility.
It just reminded me of that scene in the movie of The Matrix when that guy was like eating that steak. Because you remember they was eating that slop, but they knew that they had all the vitamins, all the nutrients in the food. It looked like oatmeal. But when he went into the fake world, he was like, man, I know that the steak is fake, but I like it. Yeah, good thing. Good stuff. Good stuff. What, you want to speak to that? Agree or disagree, Aki?
No, I mean, I'm a Scorpio, so it just is what it is.
Oh, you was talking about yourself, huh?
Hey, which is AKA.
I ain't talking about myself. I'm not talking about myself.
Hey,
no, I'm joking.
Him being a Scorpio was AKA his childhood because that's when he was born.
Oh,
so there we back at it again. There we go.
Good point.
My childhood was like this. I was born at this day, this time of the month.
For sure. All right.
Uh,
All right. Let me play some more, y'all. Let's go. Well, I can't hear it. Can y'all?
nope.
We can't see it either.
There's no video playing.
Okay. Something's going on. All right, y'all. If y'all want to bring up anything while I'm trying to get this. Well, I got it. Hold on. I believe I got this. Oh, here we go. We're
Let's
good now.
see. There you go. It's still not showing on the screen, just so you know.
I wonder why. All right, here we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
But like you said, if it's an emotional intelligence scenario, at some point, if I've tried to reason with you
Mhm.
and you're still irate,
Oh, let me
Right.
rewind it
If
just
I
a
was
little
an
bit.
emotional-
Tad bit.
Maybe I got to go to work, but when I get back, let's continue to process this.
but like you said, if it's an emotional intelligence scenario, at some point, if I've tried to reason with you
Mhm.
and you're still irate,
Right.
or you're still non-compromising, I got to let you sit in that and let you have that, and then hopefully, you know, on
Yes.
another occasion we can find some resolve.
There you go. But you also have to, if it's someone you're already in a relationship with, and say you have already grown and evolved into your emotional intelligence, and they're just not there yet, then of course you kind of have to just wait it out, do a little.
All right, that was it. I don't know if y'all caught that in the beginning. She knocked on wood. she, that, she knocked on wood for some reason. That's my next question for y'all. What's the benefit of knocking on wood, and why do we do it? Why do we see our people do this? What's the benefit of knocking on wood? Talk to me, Derek.
We live in a world where we like tradition, we like superstition, and it's better to say what you're about to say. And well, let me knock on wood first. It's better to say that than to just say the reality of what you want to say. Um, that's one of those. I don't know. I hate those. I've been looking up all these things that we do. Why do you say bless you when somebody sneezes? And why are you getting mad if I don't say bless you because you sneezed?
Yeah,
You know,
that's why I stopped. I just said gesundheit.
all these things we believe and don't even know why.
But there's a reason why people say bless you though. There is a reason.
What's the reason?
The reason is because you can die from a sneeze.
Oh no, you know, Aki, you're not on camera. Okay, okay.
You can die from walking across the street.
I know, but you can die from sneezing. That's why they say bless you whenever you sneeze, because you're actually literally stopping all your blood, all your whole body stops for that microsecond, and you could die from that.
So let me tell you this. I've heard that before, and I agree with you. If you go and ask 15 million people why they say bless you, you're gonna have 5 of them say what you just said. Those are the 14,980,950 and 85. They just saying it because it's hey, it sounds like I grew up. People were saying that. They don't know why they're saying it.
Well, we got Aki back on it. What you think? What's the benefit of knocking on wood, and why do we do it?
You know what? It's just a superstition thing. I don't think there's anything to it at all. It's just something that, like you just mentioned, Derek, that people just do, and we just do it, because that's what's people just do just because. The other problem that we were talking about, it actually has consequences, but this one doesn't. But why we do it? I don't know. To me, it seems like something that we've been doing for eons, like
Oh,
way
understand.
back.
So more like I see what you say. So people just do it because it's probably like a tradition. We've probably seen people do it,
Yeah,
but we don't really know why we do it. We probably just learn behavior, maybe, right?
right.
What's up? What's up, Vulcan? Hold on, hold
Yeah.
on. Before you
So
go, Help the Bear says, hold on. Did I miss some of his? He said, oh, that was Dr. A. Shout out to Dr. A. Williams. Uh, Help the Bear says, I think you're wrong about the bless you thing. He said people knock on wood because it rhymes with Vulcan. All right, what's up, Vulcan? What's the benefit of knocking on wood, and why do we do it?
So as far as knocking on wood, I think like everybody's already said, it's something that's a tradition and something that people just do and they never thought about it. I mean, I don't knock on wood. And I think for those who are in the Abrahamic faiths, at least Islam, Christianity, Judaism, that would be considered witchcraft.
Oh,
So if you're doing that and you consider yourself to be one of those three, then that's engaging in witchcraft, because God is what protects that group of people. And it's not from knocking on wood or crossing your fingers and stuff like that, or not splitting the pole.
so what does that say? What does that say for people who profess to be Christians who go to people like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? Christians go to her for counsel to help them, you know, overcome the trials they're going through, or even help their marriage. And she's, knocking on wood. What was some words you want to say to them to be cautious of people that might not have the same belief system that they have? Is there anything you would say to that?
I know what I would.
Vulcan?
Oh, go
Go ahead.
Just for me? Oh, okay. I didn't know it was for
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I mean, Derek can go because I would just add on to what you
Mine
were
to be
saying.
quick.
You're fine, bro.
If because you worded that question that way, if a person is going to go see somebody like her, and as Aki was alluding to earlier, said a lot of reasons that people don't change is because they don't know how. And so if a person is going to see Dr. Bryant and they don't know how, the Vulcan Show is going to help you sweethearts out there.
Yes, sir.
Ask,
Tune in. Make sure you subscribe. Vocal Soapbox on all your social media platforms.
yeah,
Go ahead, man.
ask her what is her belief on God and why before you give me advice. 'Cause I need to know if I'm gonna get advice from somebody. I need to know where it's rooted. It can't be rooted in your past pain, rooted in your misunderstanding of things. It needs to be rooted in something that I could believe. And that's what I would tell somebody if they were going to blindly meet this lady that they saw on TV and want to get some words from her.
Let's speak to that, Vulcan.
Yeah, I definitely would.
You muted.
No,
I'm
I hear.
I'm muted.
No, you're not. You're not.
Yeah,
I
they
can
can hear
hear
me. Can you hear me, Enos?
No, I still can't hear you.
Oh wow. I
Oh
can hear
wow.
you.
How much? I'm muted and unmuted. Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Nah, something going on with your audio.
I can.
I can hear you.
Everybody.
Oh, maybe I can
Everybody
hear
can hear.
y'all.
I can
Y'all-
hear James.
I
I
can't hear
mean, I can
anybody,
hear
so that's
Vulcan.
me.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's you.
I can't
Nah,
hear
I'll
nobody.
show you right. I'm not running. All right, let me fix that. Y'all go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So well, he asked the question, so I mean, I guess I'm answering for the audience to some extent, but and oh yeah, I mean, well, I mean, I don't think, I mean, that's a tough question, because I would just say it depends on how I view that person's ability to discern things. So when I tell somebody who I didn't think was that competent, not that they're dumb, they're just not the most savvy person in the world, not the most discerning person in the world, maybe a little gullible, and they profess to be, a Christian, especially. Maybe if they don't even profess to be a Christian, I probably would tell them, like, I wouldn't advise you go to her specifically, because, but she's not going to lead them down a wrong path. I just think there's going to be a lot of fluff in what she's saying and some things that are untrue that they may or may not be able to navigate. Can you hear us, Enos? You hear us? Okay, yeah. So, yes, I'm answering your question in regards to somebody going to her for advice. I mean, I think that she's probably going to give better than average advice. Let me say that. So I want to give her that credit. And that's why I mentioned earlier about just the body of knowledge that she's had to study to get where she has. It puts her above average. And so I think she'll help people get where they need to be for the most part. If I knew somebody that I thought was more knowledgeable than her, more wise than her, I'd probably send them that way. So, because unfortunately, a lot of people, this is true of people in general, but especially with ladies, they tend to not be able to avoid giving advice outside of their anecdotal situations. So a lot of times they use their life experiences and the traumas and things they went through as a way of, they speak through that to help others. And they're not able to be objective in that way. And sometimes they empath the person too much or sympathize with the person too much to where the advice is lopsided. It's not really going to be helpful. So Would I send somebody to her? If I didn't think they had anybody better to go to, then yeah, for sure, because I think she's gonna do above average job, just given her training. Do I think that there's better people to go to? For sure, definitely. All right, so so is your audio back good again or no?
Nope.
Okay, so yeah, are you able to play the video? Let me see. I'm coming to play a video. Next video. You still there, Aki?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add more to that? Would you send somebody to her for advice?
Man, I think that I agree with everything that you said. I mean, I don't disagree with what you said at all. I think that, I agree. I think everybody's trying to fix their stuff now.
Well, just let me know after you hear you. Just let me know.
All right. So I guess I'll just keep you on here. So yeah. Well, I guess he's not gonna be on here. I'm gonna call him back. But yeah, he said he can't hear right now. I don't know what it is. It's always at some point in time his audio stuff goes out. It's crazy. But yeah, we're ready for the next question or video.
Hey, Vulcan.
Yes, sir.
For the people watching this, the phrase "knock on wood" is believed to be originated from a pagan ritual of knocking on trees to ward off evil spirits. It may be associated with the belief that trees were home to various spirits, and touching a tree would invoke their protection or blessing. So it says the tradition has survived long after belief in these spirits have faded away.
Oh, shout out to Avatar. That's what's up.
Avatar, where you see that?
Remember Avatar, the movie Avatar?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
They're right the whole time. All right, we're ready, Enos. Waiting on you.
With getting experiences without judging yourself as a woman based on what those experiences are, whether the experience is a week or a month or a year and it doesn't work, you got to be able to stop feeling like you were robbed in the event it doesn't work, because the feeling of robbery then dissipates you and your value and makes you question who you are and puts you in a doubtful space. And if we're talking about law of attraction, you can't attract high functioning from a place of low vibration. So you have to make sure that you understand that life is not doing nothing to you, it's doing it for you. It's meant to be lived and not personalized, and be okay with your experiences. And for the women who are of up in age, when I say up in age, you could be in your 30s and you're not.
Falcon, you're better than me. I wouldn't refer her to no one. Not one person on the planet. Would I say, yes, go to her? Wouldn't do it.
Yeah. So is the law of attraction helpful in relationships? Before I'm gonna go to Aki next. Before I do that, I want to say that she used the word dissipate. I don't think that's a word. There's dissipate. There's decapitate. But and the thing is, she used it about 2 or 3 times on this interview process, and I thought maybe I'm tripping. I looked it up. I'm like, that's just not a word. It's not a big deal. I mean, we're nitpicking on her words here, but the fact that she said it 2 or 3 times, I just want everybody to take that and understand. Even people that are very well to do and affluent and well studied and popular make mistakes.
Yeah,
for sure.
She's diagnosing you and telling you what part of your childhood led to this or that. Question it. How do we know this? How do we know that? All right, go ahead, Aki. Is the law of attraction helpful in relationships, as she says?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, hell, who wants to be with somebody that they're not attracted to? I mean, I think that's really basic and simple. But at the same time, I ended up with somebody ugly once, and it wasn't that bad.
Well, this right here. So are you familiar with the law of attraction, teaching, like the book The Secret? Oprah was really big
Yeah,
on it.
I've read those books, Law of Attraction and The Secret and the 42 Laws of Power. I've read all three of those.
You said how many laws of power?
42. I think it's 42.
I think your book got cut off towards the end.
Why?
It's the 48.
48. That's what I meant. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. No, I'm just giving you a hard time. But yeah, so the law of attraction. She says that you have to be high functioning to attract high functioning.
That's not true. I mean, that now you're talking about intimidation. Now, are you intimidated by the person? Because if you're not, you can holler at anybody. But I do believe that the law of attraction is you shouldn't be using that, in your relationships, but not from the book's perspective. You shouldn't. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, I do. When you talk about physical attraction, the physical attraction is important, but it's not everything. But I mean, Gabourey Sidibe just had twins, so
Who?
Gabourey Sidibe.
Who's that?
Was that Jamie Foxx?
Precious. That's Precious, the girl who played Precious.
Oh,
Testing
wow.
1, 2, 3. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All right.
He's back, y'all. That's
I'm
home.
back.
Beauty is definitely in the eye of the beholder, and there's just a whole lot of them I wouldn't be beholden.
So is the law of attraction helpful in relationships?
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, law of attraction is not helpful in relationship. I would
Well,
have to
so
say
she says that if you want to attract high functioning, you have to be high functioning.
no. That's funny. No.
Yeah, Derek, what do you got on that?
Oh man, I don't agree with nothing this woman's saying.
A lot of times people attract each other because of their looks, the character. A lot of times, so function is part aligns with the character, but looks is one of the primary reasons why people attract each other. So,
Yeah.
a woman could be, her life could be in shambles, but if she's attractive, she's going to attract a high functioning guy.
So you gonna factor the high, the low, the mid functioning guys.
Yeah, so that's
and so that's why I think on the last show, because she said this in an interview with Cam Newton as well, and I said that it's not about high function attracts high function. It's like it's more high functioning only entertains high functioning.
mm-hmm.
We attract what we attract. People, if you're an attractive person physically, financially, whatever it is, you're gonna attract all kind of stuff to you. Just like a magnet attracts all kind of different metals, the ones it wants, the ones it doesn't want.
Mm-hmm.
But if you choose to entertain that and keep it in your sphere, that's typically a high functioning person is probably going to keep high functioning on them. It's all romantically anyway, in business. So in those type of relationships, that's what you'll see. So the law of attraction part, the wording is misleading, and I think it's important to know that because a lot of folks, I hear a lot of ladies references all the time. They really do think that you attract, meaning you sitting there and somebody walks up to you, you manifested that person walking up to you. So you got to keep that part in mind as well.
And that goes back to what we were saying earlier as far as confirmation bias. That's one of the, and not just confirmation bias. When we talk about the law of attraction, like we talked about this earlier, that's another what they call this new age movement that's it's unfalsifiable. So you can't disprove it or prove that is right. You could just say, I know, you go by your experience and say this is true, which can definitely confirm a lot of your biases. So you're like, okay, I'm a high functioning. I know this is going to work. So yeah, that's what I got on that.
All right, you guys. I'm gonna say goodnight. I'm gonna peace out. It's been real. It was nice meeting all of you guys.
You too, bro.
Thank you for the invitation.
Appreciate that,
man.
Yes, I'll definitely come back. It's just got a little bit late for me, and my equipment is like, no.
And good and crazy news. Everybody check out good and crazy news.
That's right. All right, brothers. Y'all have a blessed evening.
You too, man.
All right.
All right, later.
That's good. I think we
So
got
yeah, I
it.
think we covered is the law of attraction helpful? Anybody have anything else they want to say on that?
I think it's helpful for people that don't believe in God. It's a psychological helpful.
Mm.
They get to the end of that rainbow. Uh, but for those that believe, they should be nowhere near it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, so that's I would just recommend approach the law of attraction with critical thinking tools. So that's what I
You're
would.
whispering over there.
Oh, it is. Oh man, what
There you
about
go.
now?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I would just that's the way I would recommend people to really do a critical analysis on law of attraction before you adopt this new age movement. All right, I think we got a couple more questions, and we can couple more questions, and okay. So let me ask this: should women in their late 30s be proud of being single? Should women in their late 30s be proud of being single? I'm gonna go ahead and answer and say it depends. It depends. If you want to be single, then yeah. If you don't, no.
Yep.
So let's go, Derek.
If they're single because they're focusing on God, that's their passion, that's their husband, that's their choice,
Hmm.
then go do you, honey boo boo. But if
Mm,
that ain't the reason, yeah,
mm,
I think it's a lot of false proud out there. Because I would challenge a woman and say, if you're happy in your late 30s being single, put the toys away. Put them away.
Yeah,
You
by the
don't
way.
need it. You don't need us. You don't need that. Put it away.
okay.
So
So
Okay.
real quickly, if I answer the question, I mean, Derek, I know you said you didn't find her that attractive. This picture right here, you find her attractive in this picture?
I think because I've seen her, she can't fix up enough. She's no, if I didn't
Oh,
know who she was,
come
I was
on,
like, oh
Derek.
man, no, she's pretty, man.
Okay,
But
I'm about to say don't let them attack you in the comments, Derek. Come on now.
hey,
Yeah,
no,
get the
It's
comments.
I, hey, I ain't gonna,
it's some objectiveness in beauty.
I ain't gonna cap. The woman in this picture is pretty. If I saw her in real life and she opened her mouth, I would not look at her again.
Got it, got it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think it's anything to be proud of. I don't think you should be depressed over it necessarily either. If, as Derek and said, if that's your goal. Now we need to get into why that's your goal, because some people suppress because they can't get what they want. Hope deferred
Yeah.
makes the heart sick. All that kind of stuff. Suppression, and a lot of times when that stuff's happening, you're telling yourself you don't want it, but you really do,
Hmm.
and you're just not getting what you want, or you're ruining it. So you lie to yourself and tell you it's not what you want. So it's a very small percentage of people, well, male or female, that's meant to live life alone in that way. We were
Very small.
primarily designed to couple up and to come together. So I would say it's not. And the reason why this is important because I think she says in this video, she's telling women, don't feel bad about the fact you're single. Be proud of the fact that you're single. And for me, the issue with that is just, it doesn't take any. She didn't mention anything about accountability, and she does talk about accountability in these videos. She does bring those things up, but in this context, it's important. And that's why I think her bias may be coming in because of her lifestyle of being 41 or 42, still unmarried, still no children, which is really important for her. So because she doesn't want to get down on herself about it. She's telling other women don't get down on yourself about it. But when you listen to the full interview, she admits she ran into many good men. She even says, I attract good men. I attract good men.
Yeah,
Great
that
men.
was
Amazing
interesting.
men. She used all these different words. And even though she attracted those men, she said she abused them. She took advantage of them. They let her get away with everything. And she left those men. And so because of that right there, it's like, you shouldn't be proud of that. She shouldn't be proud of being single at this time of her life. She shouldn't be proud of that because she has destroyed people in her wake. And remember, this whole video is about her talking about Nick Cannon and what he's done. This lady has done probably worse. She's
And
admitted
justified it by not having a
abusing
kid.
men. Absolutely. And her claim to fame is I don't have a kid yet, so I haven't messed up any children. I haven't went through a divorce. But the reality is she's had 4 a marriage is that she's jilted or
And
you
that's
know.
She belonged to the streets.
Man, that's unfortunate. It's not fair. It's not fair for women, like we all agree. Oh, let me read the comments. Help the best. I told you, Derek. I told you this was gonna come. He said,
Hey,
"Stop the cap."
hey, I ain't got no cap.
He said, "In my boost, come on now, dog. Come on, man." Derek is tripping. LOL. In my little boosty voice. But to man, this is not fair for a woman. We all agree that this woman is attractive, and she is. What's I don't want to use the word dangerous. Where well, like I said, her teachings could be dangerous because a lot of us have. Well, I speak for myself. Probably encountered women who have an inflated view of themselves, and
Mhm.
when they listening to a woman like this, who can get, like she said, she got multiple great men. She was able to get the opportunity to get proposed to. A lot of women haven't had those experiences, and a lot of those reasons she had those opportunities was because how she looked, and she's preaching this message to women who don't look like her, and I think that's not a good thing, man.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. So, and that's a really good point as well. Is like a lot of times with these ladies who, I see it on my Facebook. I've seen plenty of women on my Facebook. Some of these girls, you know, attractive women. Some real light skinned with the curly hair, and so they're racially ambiguous. So they have options and stuff that maybe other people don't have. And so I see them giving advice to women. Sometimes I get put under there like, you have pretty privilege,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's a
they'll give
real thing.
advice. It'll be like Derek just say, "Hey, look, man, just go in the gym and dunk the ball."
It's
'Cause
easy.
he was Air Bane. Like, just go and
It's
dunk
easy.
it. What are
No,
you doing?
no.
Why'd you lay that up? Why just put the ball in the rim?
Not just that, not just that. What Derek say? Hello, because I think if y'all know, Derek had a 50-inch vertical, something crazy up there with
Yeah.
Jordan. Well, Derek just tell you, hey man, all you have to do is just believe it, man. Just think
Just
it and
believe it.
manifest that vertical. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. And I want to touch on that for what we was talking about earlier. A pretty woman like this, and she's preaching and promoting the law of attraction. And like I said, that's one of the dangers with the law of attraction because it can lead to blaming the victim blaming, which is what's the other word? Gaslighting.
Hmm.
It's dangerous because that's definitely could bring some harm to your mental health, and you know, not considering the broader context of a personal responsibility instead of internal influences, external influences. When you're saying what you're attracting, putting positive thoughts out there in the universe will come back to you. And so,
My
so
thing is
anyway,
not
so anyway,
something. Again, there are some studies that suggest that affirmations and things like that is helpful to people. Writing things
for
down,
sure,
writing your
writing
goals
things down.
down, visualizing yourself accomplishing things. Those of us who are in the world of sales and business and just being productive, in the society we live, especially this capitalist society we live in, those things do help.
All right, what about this? What if like things that could potentially harm you and things that did harm you, to blame that on the way you was thinking? What about that though?
Well, I mean, is that really related to should women in their late 30s be proud of being single?
No, that's just what the law of attraction was for. We can talk about that another
Yeah, I
show.
thought the law of
Yeah,
attraction
yeah,
thing was a question before this one.
yeah, yeah. It was.
But
Um,
so we got a comment here. You want to read that? You want me to read it?
yeah. You can. Oh, shout out to Ernest Banks. Nah, go ahead. Do the honors.
Yeah, Ernest Banks says one doesn't have to be proud or not of dynamic status in one life. One doesn't know what happened the years before. One could be positively moving away to a happier life. Who knows? In other words, people in general should be confident in the direction they are going as long as they are working towards something. Based on the question, the woman in the picture should not be a target or judged. Take
Uh-oh.
that, y'all.
Well, what's up, Ernie? You
Put
need to
put put
watch
put
some
put.
videos of that woman and then write that answer again.
Yeah.
Ernie,
Put hey
Ernie,
put
I
put the
challenge you to come on the
hey y'all
show,
put
Ernie.
the stream link in the in the comments too. Maybe one of these people, somebody come in, want to come in and talk about some of this stuff.
I challenge you, Ernie. Oh, I'm not challenging you. I'll- I'm requesting you could come join this dialogue, not a challenge.
Get on up in there.
Let me rephrase that. Let me
so,
rephrase.
That
That.
woman
we
should.
got more comments.
We don't have
Go-
to judge
All right.
her.
Oh,
She's
we
put out
got
a.
also. Oh, shout out. We
She's
got more
put out a
comments.
thing.
Shout out to Jason Washington, new sub and greets from Berlin, Germany. Okay,
Whoa.
Dankeschön, Dankeschön.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
black from Oklahoma, but happy to find this channel. Hey man, I appreciate that, bro. I really
What's
Yeah.
appreciate
up,
it, Jason.
Jason? What's up?
Shout out to Jason Washington. He also said, "Is there a Facebook group I could follow?" Yes, you can follow us on Vulcan Soapbox on Facebook. Follow us on TikTok, Vulcan Soapbox, Vulcan Soapbox on Instagram, Twitter, and you can join. I said Facebook already, and like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, man. Thank you. Another comment from him. I'm happy to come up on this join the conversation. Do y'all have a stream yet? Yeah, I'm gonna send the link right now. I'm gonna send the link right now. All right, Vulcan, Derek, you got anything? Oh, what Ernest was saying earlier?
Yeah, I got something on what Ernie was saying. What's up, Ernest? Hey, I think if you knew some of the things that this lady has said in the videos that we've watched, it's not even that we're judging her. It's that we're giving information based on things she has already said. And I think once you have heard those things, it'll give more color and cadence to what we're saying about her.
Well, but my thing is, I'm looking at the first sentence. One doesn't have to be proud or not of the dynamic status in one's life. That's what we're saying. She's saying to, be proud. He's saying you don't have to be, one doesn't have to do that. It's not necessary to get where you're trying to go to be proud of where, that you're single. There's nothing to be proud in being single. So I think that I'm saying something similar to what you're saying. Now as far as you saying that she shouldn't be judged, I think that's what Derek's point is. You got to hear more of what she's talked about, because she definitely has a lot of reason to be judged, and we all do, and we all do on certain things. But we're not examining us right now. Maybe we should do that for a show.
Peer review.
But peer review. We all, I'm sure, open to the peer review.
Oh man.
What you got? What you got? He knows.
Yeah, I think y'all pretty much touched it. I don't have
Yeah. Next topic. What we got?
All right, next topic. Let's go with this. Oh, this is a good question. Is multiple marriages better than never being married?
Before we answer
Again.
that, we got a comment. Just so you know, we got a comment before you answer that.
What's going on? I think the question would need to be changed to focus on individuals, women versus women in the pick. I'm not sure if he's referring to. Y'all know what he's talking about? Y'all know what he's speaking on?
Man, get your butt on this channel.
Doing all that typing. I told you you are invited to the Vulcan Soapbox to stream. I'll put the stream yard in the YouTube for anybody that's watching. Y'all feel free to join this dialogue.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know what to do with that one all the way.
Mm-hmm.
If by focusing on individuals, you mean that just a sweeping generalization may not be a good look in this situation, then I would probably have to agree with you about that. It's going to be case by case on that kind of a thing.
Ernest Banks said, "What was the original question?" Oh, the original question we asked Ernest. Got somebody on. What up, Jason?
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Man,
what's going on, man?
All right, man.
Is my audio coming in clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I give it a 7 out of 10.
I'll take that. Well, one of the things that's actually happening here, a lot of people don't know about it in America, but the police have pretty much specifically gone to Nigerian women and said, stop calling us to handle the kick your husbands out the house. What's been happening in Germany and in the UK is, if you type it on YouTube, they literally had like a press conference about it, where the African women are pretty much, when they get brought in by their husbands, they pretty much make up a bunch of stuff to get the husband put out the house, and then they get benefits. So they've been abusing it in such a way that the government has had to kind of step in. My question is, could that ever occur for men in America? Because we know how much a lot of women will misuse the system and use the police against men. Why is it celebrated or allowed in America the way that it is, but over here they're doing something to crack down on it?
Okay, okay. All right, if you can ask the question, just make it look concise so we can go around the room, if you don't mind.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. You see, you want to make the question a little more concise?
Yeah, yeah. Then we can
Not
ask
a
the panel.
problem. Is there a way that we as men can figure out a way to get women to stop weaponizing the police against us, especially for men who are in relationships with women?
Okay, all right. Let's go. What's up, Derek?
Well,
At Derek Bang.
I think one of the first things, if we're talking about here in America, and it's even crazy that I'm even about to say this, man, you would have if I was with a woman like what you're speaking of, there's evidence in her behavior and things that she's done and things that she's said that I would document and journal. I would journal and document everything. And hey, man, in San Antonio or in Texas in general, you can record someone, and only one person has to know there's a recording, and it can be the person recording.
Well, my only thing with that'll help in the courtroom. Would that help when the police show up?
Well, you're not going to get around that.
Okay.
I mean, you could. I tell you what, woman says, "Oh, he did this, he did that, he did this, he did that," and you say, "Officer, I don't know what she's doing, but you know what? She has a history of this. I've been keeping
Get on the ground.
I'll be like, okay, you ain't got it. Hey, you can take me, but right over there on that table, that's my journal, man. Open that up. You're gonna see who you dealing with." But there ain't nowhere around.
You have a point.
He tried
call
to
the cop
bribe
on
me with a journal, Your Honor. He tried to bribe me when I showed up with a journal.
But if I lie on y'all right now, you can't stop the cops from doing what they're gonna do to you.
Yeah, I had a friend call the cops on his girl because she's putting her hands on him. Cops showed up and said, "Well, I'm here. I'm in charge." Guess who went to jail?
Are you serious?
No, that's the reality for most instances globally when men call the police. So that's unfortunately why I think that your solution is probably more correct, where it's you have to have like video cameras in your house all the time. I think that unfortunately as men, the only thing that can actually save us, because our words won't save us, the narrative is never believed. The only thing that could possibly save us is the fact that we have some sort of video evidence of this chick going crazy and hitting us. Outside of that, you're not going to be believed. And I think a few men have been saved by the fact that they had random video evidence. And that's what I think we as men have to start doing. We have to stop relying on the police to be just and fair. We have to record ourselves.
If I can interject, I would just say that what I've heard, and I haven't been in a situation, but I guess what I've heard is that if the cops are called, somebody has to be taken away. I don't know how much is enforced.
If they find injuries,
yeah, there's injuries. So that's, I guess, what's meant to make things, because that's going to deter people from calling, right? It's meant to. I'll say it's meant to deter people from calling. I think to some extent. Now, does it actually happen that way? That's something I don't know. Real quickly, I wanted to ask. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
I've been a career bartender, so I've seen what women do when they're angry and drunk, and they will self-harm to keep the narrative in their favor.
Yeah,
it's not even. It is a. Ooh, I don't know where they. It's like when women learn to kick in the balls at a young age. Like somehow they just learn to do it. I think that them willing to hit themselves and bruise themselves, someone teaches them to do this, and I don't know who, but many women do.
Society.
Wow.
The fact that they can get away with it, huh?
I'll say us. We teach our daughters that.
How? I have a daughter. How do we teach them to do that?
Well, I think one way that we teach our daughters to do that kind of stuff, and I've had this conversation with numerous friends, is that we're very biased in favor of our daughters. So we have to search our heart right now. If the man that your daughter's with called and say, "Hey, your daughter put her hands on me," are you going to have the same response as if it was reversed?
Be honest, Derek. Be honest, Jason.
I don't. Daughters will corrupt justice in their favor. I've already had friends that admitted that they would do that. I've had friends that were in those situations where they're fighting a young man with their daughter based off what she said, and the guy is going like, she does this to me every single day. It's not the same.
I'd be on my daughter like white on rice though.
And a paper plate in the snowstorm.
I got 3 daughters, and if I find out my daughters are beating up on some dude, they gonna hear it from me. They gonna hear it from me in a big way.
Okay, but you said they gonna hear it from you. If it was reversed, is he gonna get more than just to hear? If we keep it at 100?
Well, yeah, I can't hit my daughter for hitting a dude, but I can damn sure beat the shit out of him.
Wait, why can't you?
Facebook.
All right.
No. Why can't you? Because you, logically speaking, are the only man who should ever put your hands on the women, because you're the father.
Technically, they already has.
Right. My daughter's 7, so maybe you can educate me on that. I would like to think that when she gets older, if I find out that she's putting hands on the man, I'm going to box her. I do martial arts with her already. I just feel that as fathers, we have to hold some responsibility if our daughters are hitting me. It'd be the same way as if your daughter maybe tried to child alienate, the man that she had a kid with. As fathers, we have to step up and try to fix that. And I don't think most fathers do. That's the fault of men.
100%. I can get with that.
Well,
I think it'll be too much. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, you said you had a question before that, but go ahead. You can continue.
Who, me?
Yeah, you did. You said you had a question earlier.
Well, yeah, whatever question I had, I definitely don't recall. I know I was thinking, I know Ernest had said, what was the original question? I don't know if we ever finished that part up, but it might be too late at this point. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I would say I'm answer to Jason's question. I believe, it's like because Derek mentioned that he would give them an earful. But I think with a man, he would do more than just an earful if something happened to one of his daughters. And I'm saying just the fact that daughters know that already teaches them that the rules are different for them than for other people. That's the point that I'm making. Mm-hmm. And I've had to have this conversation with my friends.
Even if you have a son, it's the same thing. And you're absolutely correct. Like, I had to have a conversation with my ex because she was telling my son that if one of the girls from his school hits him, he has the right to hit them back. And I'm like, I was like, I don't know. I don't think we should be teaching that. He says, why not? I was like, well, when he's 18, he's gonna get triggered. If a woman hits him, he's gonna go back to if anyone hits me, I have the right to hit them back. And in today's society, I think as men, we have to lose that. We have to start playing the long game. And if a woman hits you, you have to aggressively remove yourself from that situation. Yeah. Like, I don't think it's smart to be teaching our young boys that anyone who hits you, you can hit them back, because that's going to destroy them as adults.
We got a comment here,
Oh man, Ernest ain't playing. I told you to come on. The link is on, man. Let's see.
The reality is that it is natural human behavior for men and women to describe event in their favor. The main difference is in the eyes of society. Regarding physical violence or potential violence, there is a tendency to have a leaning bias towards the woman being a victim. But you are correct. Women in general have great practice in the art of manipulation from a very young age.
Yeah, I want to address that because, I would say that's true, but it makes sense because the domain of physical violence is largely not available to the opposite sex. So they have to get more skilled in gossiping and destroying reputations and lying and libel and things of that nature, because they're not going to be able to walk up and just punch a guy. It's not advantageous. And even with ladies, they're not really set up in that way to really be fighting physically. Their hip to waist ratios not built for fighting. Their hands are small and more brittle. Their bone density is not the same. So they're not really set up to be fighting physically. So they have to get better. They have to express their aggressions in other ways. So I definitely would agree with that.
I would agree with that, but women have gotten more masculine, even in body and like scientifically. So like that, you said ladies. So I'm thinking of women in the 70s. Like, yeah, I would agree with you. But in 2024, these aren't ladies. This is not same thing as men. We've lost testosterone since
sure.
our elders in the 80s and 70s. So what you said makes absolute sense until you meet a sister from Detroit. You know, like, and again, I've worked in restaurants and bars and events all my life. I don't think that women understand their power when they're drunk. Like, trying to stop a woman trying to have an altercation is not easy at all.
Especially
And
if you're
they
trying to do
all
it without
think it is.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to do it without hurting her. That makes it that compounds the
Yeah,
problem.
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You
she
can-
knows that.
you
Yeah,
can
Probably.
kick her to the-
She-
you can probably kick
she
her to
used
the
to it
ground.
already.
don't hit the girl, just hold her. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna get headbutt. I'm gonna get spit at.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a broken nose or your eye sore because you almost got poked out, that's a lot.
Well,
You
hey,
know,
I can't imagine doing anything to make a woman want to hit me. But if you hit me, I'm gonna do what all these men should do if a woman puts a hand on her. I'm gonna do what you do. I'm gonna call the cops. Call me a punk. Call me what you want to call me. I'm gonna call the cops. I dare you to do it again because I can't hit you back.
Mm.
I mean, I could, but I'm not.
The loophole is pepper spray. You
Yeah,
are
yeah.
no, because that's what the gay
That's
dudes
what we
taught me
need to
that. The gay dude said that you don't need to swing. Just pull out your pepper spray and spray them.
Oh,
And
I
I'm
like.
like,
Well,
I'm
I
I
ain't
buying
think
gonna.
that
one.
actually works.
I'm buying one tonight. As soon as I get up, I'm buying one on Amazon. All right. This last question for the night, fellas. Last question for the night. Is multiple marriages better? And this is what we was talking about earlier, Ernest. If you want us to repeat the question, this is what it was. Is multiple marriages better than never being married? Let's go with our newest guest, man. Thank you for thank you for joining us, man. Let's go with Jason, man.
No,
I said
no,
thank
it's
you. I
not.
should say Dankeschön. How's my German? Is that good? Ich bin nein.
Dude, I've been here for 10 years. I don't speak German. I made all my money in English. So
Okay. All
my
right.
kids speak English. We are an English family. Is
Okay.
multiple marriages better than never being married?
Just
No.
say no for now. I'll come back to you
Yeah, no.
to explain why. What's up, Derek? Talk to me.
Hell to the no, no.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nope, nope.
Vulcan. No, I guess I go before you. I'm gonna say multiple marriages is better than never being married. Is multiple marriages better than? Yeah, I say so. I say so to a certain. It depends. It depends. I'm gonna explain why after. What's up, Vulcan?
I'm gonna go yes on this one. Multiple marriage is better, especially in the context.
Oh, you know the rules. You know
Yeah,
the
no, I'm just
rules.
making sure everybody knows because we haven't played the video in a long time at this point.
Okay,
So
we
let
can do
everybody
that.
know that was something she said in the video. We don't play the video, but that's something she mentioned
All right.
when she was
All right.
encouraging the ladies. Are you gonna play the video again, or do you want me to give the context?
Oh, so okay. So we okay.
Let
Now
me
that's
see.
smart. Make us answer first and then play the video and see if we change our minds.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with no.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Start it off, Derek.
Well, I mean, no. If there's a context I'm missing, I'm just looking at
Well,
the question.
hold on. Well, if you hold on. I was asking you. I don't know if you heard me. I was saying, are you gonna play the video, or want me to provide the context?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. I could just play because it was only a minute, so we can play the video.
All right.
Okay.
How about we do that, fellas? All right.
It's not playing, just so you know. It's not playing with y'all.
Y'all brand new. It's so good. You got to have a good few months of struggle streaming.
Yeah. Yeah, we appreciate you coming on too, man. That's
No,
big.
not like I appreciate these kinds of conversations. So many
Here we go.
people are doing the arguments, and it's like let's have the conversations to get some solutions. All right.
That's what we're
Absolutely.
here for, man. Let's have these dialogues. That's what we're here for. All right, fellas, here we go.
It's you and your value and makes you question who you are and puts you in a doubtful space. And if we're talking about law of attraction, you can't attract high functioning from a place of low vibration. So you have to make sure that you understand that life is not doing nothing to you, it's doing it for you. It's meant to be lived and not personalized, and be okay with your experiences. And for the women who are up in age, when I say up in age, you could be in your 30s and you're not married yet and you are in your career or you're trying to figure things out. Make your self-talk question not be, why am I not married yet? Let your self-talk question and dialogue be, I'm proud of myself that I didn't choose out of despair, that I allowed myself as a woman to choose on my terms, on my time, and when I felt like it. Because when you do it like that, then it's more apt to work. So take your time and do you, and don't personalize it, because you have a lot of people who already been married a few times. That could easily be you. But for the people who have been married a few times and do have kids and they're co-parenting, I would say that number one, too, get your emotional intelligence up. If you don't have a therapist and you can't afford it, read books on it. YouTube has free videos on emotional intelligence. And the best way to implement.
There we go. I think that's enough. That's all we
Okay, so
need.
what's the question here?
And the question is multiple marriages better than never being married?
From her perspective, I changed my answer. Multiple marriages is better than never being married, based on the clip we just watched.
So you say, yeah, what you got for us, Jason? Talk to me.
I'm still sticking with no.
Are you still sticking
I'll
with no?
explain later.
No, you go ahead. You can explain. So we got everybody answer. Go ahead and explain.
Okay, so but all three of you have said yes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In my experiences, I would say yes. If in most cases people would have their divorces and co-parent in a healthy way, but what I have found is that most people, when they break away from their marriages, it's not a healthy thing. Co-parenting wise with kids, it's just more and more chaos. So I don't see multiple people who've been multiple marriages working out better for you. I actually have seen better situations where men have been upfront and say, I don't believe in marriage, and been upfront with women about that. And then they move accordingly. They've been able to have children. They've been able to build a family. They've done all this outside of the institution of marriage, versus going into the institution of marriage multiple times, failing and losing your income and all of that. I think that's just logically worse.
Okay. Want to speak to that, Derek? Agree,
Well,
disagree?
I agree, because his answer had nothing to do with her. I actually agree with that. But I'm answering based on her in this question. What you said, I can totally get with that, 100%. But based on her telling a woman, hey, because you've chose not to do it until this late, feel good about that, when that's not even the reason. They didn't choose to be single at 40. They got some crap
Right.
going on in their minds. They got some faulty thought processes. They got some stuff that needs
Speak
to
on it.
be fixed. So they're not there now. Now, for the women out there who are truly, you was 20 and you said, I'm just gonna choose, I'm gonna plan my life out, I'm gonna wait, I'm not trying to get with no man, I'm not trying to do that. That percentage is so low, we can't even figure out what that number is. So we got to put that as the exception to the rule, with the rule being you 41 and can't stick a man. That's a problem. So I would say in this scenario, I would rather have had a wife that I loved, and maybe a kid with my first one, and I don't have double marriages, but and then fell in love again, and whatever else, whatever didn't work out, and then it is what it is. But to tell a woman, hey girl, do you should be happy because you chose to wait. No, you did. You got problems. That's why you over here. And
Wow.
that's her issue. If you look at the videos of her, you can see her problems the moment she opens her mouth. It's like, oh my gosh. But don't get me started on that woman.
For sure.
Sorry, I was so
Welcome.
long-winded on that.
No, that was
It makes-
perfect. And I want, and Phil, y'all free to interject and impress me, because I think I forgot some of the points that were mentioned that I would like to address. But generally, I would say, one, there's going to be a gender difference here. I got to make a distinction in the gender here, but I won't do that. I won't do that right now. But just go. So I'm gonna answer it in the general. Then I'm gonna try my best to try to remember what y'all said and address those things. But is multiple marriages better than never being married? If somebody's never married,
Oh, I wanted to go, but go ahead, man.
go ahead and go.
Yeah, I was just thinking that's a good point you made, because I was trying to figure out how I was going to answer that as far as the gender. Now, it's the reason I said it. It depends on. Let me take this off. It depends on the person goals, right? So if a person want to get married and she's been married before, or if the man has been married before, I'm just going off statistics and what research said. It's more likely that they're gonna get married again. So if the person do want to get married, it's better for them to actually. I mean, stats wise, it'd be better for them that the studies support them that more likely they will get married again versus somebody that hasn't been married. So in that sense, yeah, it's better. That's why I said initially say yeah. For people that still want to get married and have a family, it's more likely for you to get married than somebody that was single.
And yeah,
So
and
But is
real,
it a
real
good wait?
quickly,
Is it a good thing to get married twice? Like
and
you're
depends
saying
on
that
when you get
that's,
married.
well, hold on, that's what
you
I want to get into real
okay.
quick. Just, feel free to jump back in, Jason. But I want to make sure I say this. So the way the questions worded may be a little misleading. So it's more based off what she said in the video. So it's like not never being married, like you made it to 90, 80, 90 years old when you never married. This is more like she's saying, she said mid-30s. So you're mid-30s, and she says, don't be in a doubtful space. One, I don't get why doubting yourself is such a bad thing. I think that's a great place to be in. And men understand that. We got to doubt. We got to figure out, because that's what we're figuring out. What am I made of? What's going on? Am I doubting myself because I'm not confident? I have a lot of faith, confide with faith. I don't have a lot of faith in my situation because I haven't done what I need to do. I know that there's some legitimate insecurities here I need to evaluate, and then that doubt can dissipate. Or the word she used, dissipate, whatever word she used earlier.
That's
But
I was like dissipate. Jackson ass word.
so yeah, so the thing is, I think she said dissipate, but the thing is, so in that sense, you should doubt. It could be you. When you self-evaluate, it might be me that I'm stuck here. There's been no quality men. In her case, she's already admitted she had a great man that she abused and took advantage of. So women who have taken advantage of good men and who have been too picky at times and who have wanted things that were toxic and things that are healthy, you should doubt. You should look back on your past and be like, I messed that up in some ways, and use that evaluation to help you in the future so you don't repeat those same practices. So that's more the context of the question. That's me saying, so now getting more into why I think that it's more important to marry than to just be single. So you're 35, 40 years old, you're still single, never married, versus somebody who's been married 2 or 3 times at that same age. So one thing is body count. So a lady, presumably if lady's in a marriage and she's sleeping with one man, let's say she's been married 2 or 3 times and she's 30s or 40s or whatever, she hasn't had so many experiences that it start to give her too much trauma. You can still get trauma by one person. But what the studies show, and I put this graph online not too long ago, once a woman has passed up 5 bodies with intercourse, her chances of being happy in relationships diminishes dramatically.
It's like 26%.
Yeah, it's like 26%.
And majority of women are finishing 5 bodies before they finish graduating school. That's legit.
Yeah.
Especially in our culture. We're a very lustful culture. Like Neely Fuller speaks about this all the time. He has a great thing where it's like the 9 questions you should ask before getting into sexual activity. And I was listening to it, I was like, oh my God, if we actually followed this, it would completely destroy our sexual not drive, because the questions are so logical that it's like, damn, do we really even need to be doing this? Until we do that, we're always going to be a very overtly sexual culture. So the whole 5 body count thing, that's why we can't reach relationships till the end of time, because we have ADHD in our culture as far as sexually. Our sexual nature is completely chaotic on men's side and women's side. And you can blame entertainment, you can blame hip hop, you can blame what happened to us, and like whatever you want to blame, it's a reality now that we need to focus on and fix.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the reality is, like, we are definitely different. So with men, it can be helpful for men to wait to get married in their 30s or 35 or 40s, because it takes that long. Men don't hit their financial stride till 35, 40, up to 50, 55 years old anyway. So in that situation right there, if that man's waiting, he can get his options increase, because he can date down in the 20s and go all up into his 60s if he wants to, if he's in his 50s and give or take for the 40s as well. So his options are maximized. So the numbers are on his side, and he's more financially attractive. A lot of the studies that show that men who have perceived affluence, women find them more attractive. That's the reality. So the math is in his favor, where with the women, it's the opposite. As women get older, most women don't want to date younger than them to a major extent. They might go
They
down
want
a
to
couple.
fuck them.
Huh?
They want to fuck them.
Facebook,
Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, sorry, my fault.
Yeah. So, but the thing is that you're right. But we're talking. This right here is talking about never being married versus. So I'm saying that yes, but that lady who just wants to do that, that's adding another body.
Yeah.
She's got another person to compare whatever guy she ends up being with. And for ladies, by the time they get to that 35, 40 place where they want to find their person, if you've given up so much and dealt with so much trauma, you may not be fit for the guy that you would actually want anymore.
Men typically do that.
And that's why for ladies, waiting hurts them. When for men, their value tends to increase in the eyes of women. Ladies, hear me, in the eyes of women, the man's value increases. Because of the fact that they're more financially attractive, they're more established, they've matured a lot in a lot of ways. If they were ugly, their beard covers up most of their face. Whatever you want to say,
wow.
it helps the men out.
Yeah.
And so for the women, it's not really good to marry. Your beauty is your primary currency. That's just the way it is around the world. And that being the case, that's why I would say it's better for her to marry, keep her body count down. She has a lot of work history from an employment standpoint for a prospective guy to marry. She knows what it takes, what it doesn't take, versus a lady who's been out there. I'm thinking of all the bodies she's racked up, all the bad experiences and trauma she has.
And versus that woman that's probably been with one guy for 20 years.
Yeah, all the expectations she's going to bring to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just have 30 seconds real quick?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes,
You
sir.
do thing. Take
Okay.
it ahead.
Isn't that more on men that we need to maybe psychoanalyze what we're attracted to? If the value is in the beauty, and just hear me out. If I have a beautiful woman here, and there's another woman here that's kind and actually empathetic, would never ever jeopardize my father rights. These are conversations that I don't think a lot of men have with women. Like, if we break up and we have kids, how are you going to respect me and my time with my children after the fact? So there's a beautiful woman here, and on the other one, not a good looking woman, a 3 or below, but healthy. So she's not fat, but just a bad looking woman, but kind hearted, a good soul, someone who actually, I think we have, as men, we have to start psychoanalyzing ourselves and start trying to figure out to stop putting our eyes and our seeds in the beautiful women and really start looking at the women that are maybe being ignored. Because that's what we're wanting the women to do. We're wanting the women to stop looking at the dudes who are always wanting to be tall or the crazy muscles and like, hey, what about that man's spirit? What about what that man's went through and he fought through to make it in life? Isn't that valuable? And most women, they don't care about that. And that's where I think is the issue on both sides, is that we have a value system in the lustful stuff versus a value system in any type of religious background, or a value system in any type of alchemy, or a value system in anything that's actually important.
Yeah, you do see that. And you do see that men that have values and definitely have values, they do tend to go down in looks for a woman that's cooperative. You know, you do see that some men that with strong character, they understand that women, that beautiful women do come with a headache, and wiser men will tend to go down on looks, especially if they want to build something with women. They tend to do that at times. We got more comments. What's up, Unc, man, for the last time, man? Come on, man. Come on, have this dialogue. Get on screen. Volker, can you do the honors and read?
I got you.
Wait, who's the best reader on this panel?
I didn't know these questions were being answered based on the videos. I don't think it's a question that reveals a lot. There are too many other factors. There's too many factors that play into it. Multiple marriages by the age of 24, 40, 64. Are they wanting marriage? I think looking at the question, regardless of the video, better or worse are subjective terms based on each individual. Questions like whether a person is better or worse after multiple marriages or by a certain age are deeply subjective, and I can't see anything else.
Yeah,
It depends.
Okay.
And what?
I think you typing all this and not getting on the podcast is
Right? It's like when your lady's like over like look, just call me, because I'm not analyzing. I said since once I finished school, I wasn't doing this much reading. So just call and let's have a conversation. That's what y'all was saying to Ernest. Ernest, there's too many words, but great point.
I'm dressed for bed.
What's that mean?
Yeah, you don't have to get on. You don't have to
You
get
just
on
put
camera if you
audio.
don't want to. Feel free to get on without getting on camera. If you can put like a some kind of picture up, that'd be good too. But if not, we can
Before
both.
Ernest, you losing some man points for that because I have never heard a man say I'm dressed for bed.
So who wants
I'm
to
saying, bro, I'm dressed for bed.
who wants to address the comment?
I want to. Well, I don't want. What before we get to the comment, I want to kind of piggyback on something that Jason said. I think there's two dynamics working within this attraction thing. If a guy is looking for a woman that's a 10 and that is the focus, that's a problem. But I think the man has to look for a woman that he's attracted to, which could be a 3, a 4, a 6, a 7, an 8, a 9. But then I would switch it if I were speaking for the ladies, and I would say this: does a woman want to be desired or tolerated because she's nice? I would argue that they want to be desired versus, oh, I know my man don't think I'm good looking, but I got him and he knows I'll treat him well. That is a funky feeling. I think
That's them wanting the lies then. That's them wanting because but you're right.
You're saying because you are what you are at the end of the day. And I would also say this: if the transaction is that much in her favor, I think that momentary disappointment in the reality, will go away. Because if you're a 3 getting a 8 guy, yeah, it sucks that he doesn't really think you're on his level or doesn't really find you that physically attractive. But you're not going to trade that in to get something that's more, more closer to your number.
Yeah.
That might find you more attractive. That's like you selling your house and your neighbor selling it for 50,000 more. You're gonna be like, well, I didn't pay that much for it, so let me just go ahead and sell it for what I paid for it. You're gonna be like, well, they're selling it for that. I'm raising my price too. So I think people are gonna typically just go, I'm gonna keep my good trade here. I'm gonna take my 8 man and deal with my psychological issues. If they're wise.
Do you remember I don't know if you guys are in my age bracket. I'm 42, but do you remember in the 90s when all the black women were like trying to like come for Denzel Washington and they were clowning how ugly his wife was, and like saying he should be with Angela Bassett, and like it was a whole thing in the 90s. And I remember him kind of coming out and saying, I think it was an interview with Oprah, but and he asked her, and he's like, how do you feel about all these women wanting? And she's like, it has nothing to do with me. I can't do anything about that. I can give him the love that I can give him, and he's loved me for that. And I remember what he said was that, what was it? He said all the glimmer of the women that want me cannot hold a candle to the love that this woman who has known me almost all my life can shine upon me. He said it in a much smarter Denzel way, but I remember hearing that, and my uncle was telling me, you need to remember this. You need to try to find women like that, because when women come, he was a Kappa, so you already know. So he's like, when women come for you, like they only want these certain things. But if you find a woman that's a little bit lower in looks and really rocks with you and your soul, that's the one you got to focus on.
I definitely 100% agree. Now, I do want to say this for the audience: we got to be careful of false dichotomies. Not that anybody's done that, but the options really aren't, attractive and horrible values versus unattractive and great values. There's a spectrum to it, and we all recognize that spectrum there. So, I think conventionally you'll hear guys say on the internet, I'd rather get me a 7 that has good values than mess with an 8, 9, or a 10. That's entitled and it's not going to view the exchange in a very fair way because they used to get in their way. So, I mean, that's what you more so hear. So it doesn't have to be, unattractive in this or attractive in that. I'm not saying that doesn't exist too, but there is some gray area in there, some spectrum to it. And I think that's, and it's also going to be what you bring to the table at the end of the day, to negotiate the deal. You're negotiating a deal like anything else, so that's what I would say to that. So go back to the main question. For the men, I think it could be helpful to wait until you're older in marriage, because you can also have kids whenever you want. Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Yeah, your audio's back out again. So so what I'm just saying is that for the ladies, waiting too long, like 35, 40, like this lady is 40. This lady's 41 years old. and still wants to have kids in a family. She said that I want to have kids in a family at 41 years old. That's not good for a woman because, you know, those eggs are 90% gone by like 30. So
Eggs are radioactive.
Yeah. So that's why that's not a good setup to tell women that, because you're putting them in a major medical bind when it comes to having children and that potential baby, because you tell them it's okay to wait and you shouldn't look back on your life and realize you squandered your opportunities.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything on that?
No, that's good.
I'll agree. The only women who have a caveat to that are the women who really understand at an early age not to take the pill, not to be eating certain foods. There's a small subsection of those crystal sisters that I know that are in their 40s and they are fertile, but they've never their diet has been immaculate for like decades, and they also have never ever had the pill. So in that situation, women, you can prolong it, but if you have a bad diet, if you've had all these medicines in you, then you have to proactively understand that your eggs are being erased, not through father time, but through what you put in your body. So if you have done this, then you need to proactively go the other direction and try to find your man, try to get married, try to have your children early. If you want to actually wait, like these women are saying, then okay, but then get your health right and keep your weight low and do all these other things to match what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and on that note, I do want to bring up this point too. Enos, you want to see can you hear us, Enos? Okay, he still can't hear us. So yeah, one thing I want to say as well is, did I lose my point? Oh yeah, I was going to cover this idea because what she's saying in a nutshell, and you hear this in a lot of Black podcasts about relationships, is women saying, and even men saying, they say, I don't want to settle. I don't want to compromise. But I said it before in the last show we did with this lady. Settling is a natural part of the process. You got the new frontier, the settlers. Rocks settle at the bottom of the ocean. You tell your kids, hey, settle down over there. Settling just means to stop moving. You got to stop moving eventually. If you plan on getting married, you plan to stop moving eventually. Now, I know the implication people say settle is to not compromise. But compromising on preferences or standards. If it's on preferences, you probably need to compromise on that stuff because those aren't rooted in anything that's worthwhile anyway. If it's on standards, like you can't be a murderer, you can't, be involved in trafficking, that's understandable. But the thing is, so I just want to say that when it comes to what she's saying and not, feeling age, that's bad advice. Evaluate yourself individually and see if maybe it is you. And then on top of that, like in her situation, it was definitely her, and she admits it to her in the videos. So that's what I would say as far as the being married multiple times versus haven't been married. You're still dealing with men. If a lady's not going to deal with men at all, then I would say it's better to stay. If you instead of going through 3 bad marriages, don't deal with men at all, and be 30, 35, and then say I want to be married. That's fine. If you're still going to be entertaining them, using their money on dates, being mating with them, all that kind of stuff, then might as well go ahead and get married.
Yep.
You still believe that in this day of time? Sorry, let me go ahead and let because you haven't said anything in a while, Derek.
No, you're good, bro. You're good.
Okay. What you said, Vulcan, it makes sense. It really does. And if the goal is, I think we're not looking at the big picture. The big picture is don't ask a woman what kind of man she wants to be with. Ask a woman what kind of man can she actually grow old with. What kind of temperament is that man? Because a lot of times women will describe the man that they want to divorce. They'll describe the man who makes all these certain amenities so that if they get tired of that man, they get certain benefits. So the real thing is you have to ask women, who can you grow to be 80 years old with? What is his personality going to be like? What kind of... And when you ask these types of questions, you'll find that a lot of women, especially in our community, they're more aligned with the man that's gay or bisexual. It's very difficult for them to see themselves actually wanting to grow old with us. That's why you see so many gray divorces. And I've seen this as a bartender where men get 50, 55, and then they get blindsided with a divorce because our women have not seen, or at a young age, catering or taking care of an elderly person. So it's not natural for them. So when we need that kind of care when their sexual libido goes the opposite direction, when they start hitting 45 and goes up the
Well,
wazoo, and then ours goes the opposite direction, and we
Chase, I
need
just
to
want to
take
say this real
pills to
quick.
even hang.
I just want to say this real quick.
Yeah.
At 3:24, at 3:30, we're gonna wrap it up. So just so everybody knows.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I'll say this last part is just that we have to start asking women who they want to grow old with. What's that man like? And compare, is that man you? Versus saying what kind of money does that man need to make? What kind of job do you want him to make? What kind of attributes do you want him to have? What kind of looks do you want him to have? None of that means anything when we're 70 and 80 years old.
Okay, and so you know, there's a lot of different ways I wanted to address what you were saying, but okay, at what age do we ask that question? Would you say?
As soon as you're before the baby comes. I would say you ask those kind of questions in your 20s when you're dating, because if you're trying to actually commit to somebody, then you want to see if they actually understand the concept of actually getting to old age. So you're
saying the 20s?
If you're dating, be serious. If you yes.
I mean,
these kind of questions should be part of the dating process.
But why not? Because I mean, people start dating in middle school, right? I mean, if not
they hook up in middle school. That's not dating.
Okay, what's dating for you?
Dating is actually dating. Dating is supposed to be I'm filling you out to either get to the point where we're in a relationship. Dating is supposed to be the steps before the relationship. That's what dating is. Well, because the relationship is supposed to be the time before the marriage or whatever, or before the lifelong commitment. But dating is supposed to kind of just be the stage to see if we're going to be in a relationship. It takes maybe 4 or 5 months, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, because in middle school, they enter relationships. Sometimes these relationships
in middle school, they're just hooking up and hunching.
4 years.
That's not dating, you know. In middle school,
I've seen. Okay. I mean, like, obviously, if you go back to mine and your great grandma, they met their husband in middle school, as a matter of fact. But the thing is, but even just now, it may not last that long like it did for our great grandparents. But there's people in middle school dating for the whole school year. They're in a relationship. They're on a regular basis. Depending upon the parenting and the culture, they may even go out on dates and stuff like that. So I'm just more questioning why 20. Even if I chose middle school, which I could have picked high school if it made it a little easier for you, but.
I'm choosing 20 because I think that's when you can actually have those sort of conversations and they make sense. I think you couldn't have those sort of conversations in high school or middle school, but I think in your 20s is when you kind of start. That's when you start thinking about, maybe I want to start a family. Maybe that's when life really starts to. Yeah. My
understanding is that young girls are thinking about marriage already. They're already looking for their husband at. By the time they're already planning that. I know. Just this is more anecdotal. This is more anecdotal, but in 10 seconds or less, like I used to work for the Boys and Girls Club, and I had to interview 100 kids and ask them their goals. I think it was either 50 girls or 50 guys, or 100 girls, 100 guys. I can't remember what it was. And the reports came back. A lot of young girls had marriage as their goal. That's in their planning to be married. And this is Boys and Girls Club. So from like. My group was like from I don't know, first grade to 8th grade, and the girls already had marriage. A lot of the boys didn't have that on there, but a lot of the girls had marriage on there. They were already thinking about their husbands. So I'm just and a lot of girls would tell you when they were dating this guy in middle school, they thought they can get married. They would want to marry that guy. Now they knew they were young for marriage, but in today's society. But I mean, so I'm just saying why we wouldn't tell them then, because they're already having trauma with boys. At that age, why would we wait so long to tell them to focus on where we should be going when they're already making mistakes and doing damage to themselves at that age?
I think there's a maturity that comes with understanding that. Like I've actually told somebody, if you think the same at 41 as you thought at 20, there's a problem. There's no growth.
The same in what category? I mean, I thought 2 + 2 was something that, and I don't think it.
Nothing that's factually can be proven at all. I mean, as far as experience, like you were saying earlier.
Like what example? Like what's an example you would say?
Okay, on this wanting to find someone that you can grow old with. I actually love that question. I'm gonna make a TikTok out of that, by the way. Thanks, Jason. But that is a great question for someone my age that's dating, that's not married. I would have never. That wasn't even in. I mean, I'm thinking it, but it was never in my mind to ask that question specifically. But if I go and ask my 22-year-old daughter to think about that question, there's no life experience. There's no nothing. I would have to bring her and show her and take her of what it's supposed to look like. This is what it could look like, but there's no reference. But I think when you get older, and me, I'm 53. You get older, you're like, you know what? That's a great freaking question.
Well, Derek, that's a great point there, Derek. We're hitting at that mark, so we can just go around.
Sorry.
Jason, go ahead. Share anything you have, if anything you're on. The closing statements, and Derek, you can go next.
I'll make it quick. Derek, let's finish that up, because again, that's what I speak to when I'm bartending all the time with guys. Is like, what's the woman you want to grow old with peacefully? And so those are the questions that I think can actually bring some real solutions for men and women when we start to approach it in that direction. And thanks for letting me come on. My channel is What the Funk Is This? It's just a music channel, but
okay.
Yeah,
I
appreciate it.
Take my TikTok down, bro. So if you have, I don't know if you have TikTok.
I don't have TikTok, man. I'm old. I'm 42.
Hey, I'm older than you. I just got it.
And we got the
all right.
private chat, fellas. Don't forget we got the private chat right there too. So feel free to put your stuff in there. All right,
okay.
Derek, on you.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good.
No closing statement. TikTok.
Well, if you are watching this and you like to know a different point of view on certain things, my TikTok is at Derek Bain. It's all kind of stuff on there. I'm having fun with it. But no, this was good. I love learning and hearing different points of views, and it helps me shape my own beliefs and things that I may not even have been thinking about. So no, appreciate it, bro. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I think the private chat, I think it has some stuff in there for you.
Gotcha.
I'll type it in there real quick, and then I'll do my closing statement real quick so we can close this out.
Okay.
Because so I'll say this: I appreciate everybody who's commented, everybody who liked and subscribed and enjoyed the show today. We covered a wide range of topics, and we didn't even get through. We can literally do an entire show on the question we didn't get to. For this video, and I'll try to get through everything, so I don't want to keep on doing this. I know Derek's already worn out with Dr. Bryant already. We pretty much covered everything, but going into everything else, I really appreciate Jason coming on the show, and Derek as well. Enos, thanks for all you did hosting the show. Y'all follow us on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, Vulcan Soapbox. We cover a wide range of topics. Feel free to send in topics you want us to cover. Feel free to join the show. The purpose of this show is to teach people critical thinking skills. That's what it's all about. Critical thinking skills so you can defend yourself against the sophistry in this world by people who are very great communicators and have a lot of influence. So thank y'all for coming on the show today, and we look forward to hearing and seeing from you again.
All right. Let's